rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledged knowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawn. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcasted like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the number one Chief Rock Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy. Welcome to the Knicks at Night podcast, the premier Knicks in the Nighttime show. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Hope you guys are having a great night so far. Just coming in to stir up some trouble for a little bit. Maybe just rock for a little bit. I had some things that I want to talk to you guys about. Just wanted to let you guys know the same stuff that we've been talking about around Knicks Universe is the same stuff that people around the sports universe in general are speaking about. I'm just going to play a little bit of this. Y'all tell me what y'all think.
Play-in or the in-season tournament. And Kenny Smith on TNT was talking about what's wrong with the Knicks. And you kind of said it. They're just right there in the middle of
nowhere, Chris. Right. Middle of nowhere.
And see, you see what I mean? Rob Parker and Chris Broussard said that the Knicks are right there in the middle of nowhere. If you're a Knicks fan, is that what you wanted to hear from the national media? You can't really blame them because right now the Knicks record is 12-8, like Chris Broussard just said. Right? He just said it. The Knicks are right there in the middle of the pack. They're 12-8. They're 12-8, right? And yeah, and Rob Parker doubled down on it. He said the Knicks are in the middle of nowhere. They continued a little teeny bit.
Not bad enough to get the top pick. Not good enough to challenge for a championship. Right.
And remember, they beat Cleveland last year in the first round, and you know, that was a nice kind of series win for them. And but that was it. Like that was it, and that's where they are.
And that was, you knew that's as far as they were going.
You see what I mean? So they had the feeling, the national media has a feeling that if we beat Cleveland, that was about as far as we were going to go. Right? Which boggles my mind why Knicks fans think that the Knicks can maybe go any further. Listen, I want this team to win a championship, man. So when I hear the national media say that, man, it frustrates me and it makes me angry a little bit. Right? It makes me angry a little bit. Right? It makes me angry a little bit. I just can't come to grips with how we are viewed as a middle of the pack team. Right? And but the frustrating part is they're right. Right? And I believe they're right. Yeah, Alawaz is in the building. Alawaz says their ham sandwiches, they didn't think we was gonna beat the Cavs. I don't listen to them. I watch you. Hey man, I'm serious, bro. I think we're at a point. Nev the Disruptor is in the building. I think we're at a point where we may have to make some type of upgrade in order to get to that place where we all want this team to get to.
Here is Kenny Smith on TNT's Inside the NBA last night talking about the Knicks.
This is why the Knicks are going to stay in the middle. Every game that they play, they always have the second best player.
Hardy's newest hand.
YouTube is playing a Hardy's commercial. Imagine that. Thank you, YouTube. YouTube, man, legit commercials you to death. YouTube commercials you to death. I'm going to take that down until that commercial is over. I think there is, even though I don't like it, I think there is something to it though. Even though there's even though I dislike it, I think there might be something to it. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's just it frustrates me to hear them say this, y'all. But things are what they are, man. I'm just gonna hit the button so you can hit the rest.
Boston, you got the second or third best player. You play Orlando with Banchero. They don't have a player that's better than Banchero. Milwaukee, we know they don't. Philadelphia, they don't. The Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton is the best player on the floor, if you say that.
Correct.
If you play the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler is the best player on the floor. You play the Cleveland Cavaliers, you have Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. You don't have the best player on the floor no night. Now, they can play better than you, but they are not walking into the gym and saying,
you have no margin for error.
You know what?
That was the thing. That last thing that Charles Barkley blurted out is exactly where we are. We don't have a margin of error. We have to play pristine basketball. Everything has to be perfect every night. We have to play pristine basketball, man. We have to be absolutely perfect. on most nights. I don't think this team is a championship level team. And all summer, I said that I thought the team was going to be at least a 60-win team. And those two things are not the same. Being a 60-win team and being a championship level team, it sounds similar, but they're not the same thing. It's not the same thing. But I'm at a point though that I believe a major move has to be done, either on the court or in the front office. A major move has to be done. It can't be fire the coach, right? It can't be fire the coach, because if the front office is the same and the players are the same, changing coaches is just moving around deck chairs. In my opinion, that's what it is. It puts me in this weird space of, you hate to hear people talk about your team this way, but at the same time, the truth hurts. You hate to hear it, but you understand. And then the more frustrating part is, you hate to hear it, the truth hurts, but you don't have any answers. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. As a fan, I'm trying to figure it out. As a fan, you hope RJ Barrett develops into Jimmy Butler. You hope Quentin Grimes develops into Michael Redd. As a fan, you hope Emmanuel Quickly develops into Chauncey Billups, Jalen Brunson, something like that. But also as a fan, you've seen this movie play out 1,000 times in your head, and the ending is never edited. It's always the same ending. So where does that leave you? Does that leave you in a place of blame the media for telling the truth or telling their truth? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know exactly. They continue. They said a lot of stuff. They said a lot of stuff, man.
And today, Rock, quickly before you go, there was a report by Shams Charania, who obviously breaks a lot of NBA news.
Shams Charania
today saying that the Knicks are in the market trying to trade for a superstar.
And see, this is the part that gets me right here. Listen to this part right here, y'all.
We have no margin for error.
You know what?
And today, Rock, quickly before you go, there was a report by Shams Charania, who obviously breaks a lot of NBA news, today saying that the Knicks are in the market trying to trade for a superstar.
Just one more time, y'all. One more time.
NBA news today saying that the Knicks are in the market trying to trade for a superstar.
How many times have you guys heard that over the last 45 years? How many times have you heard that in the last 45 years? How many times have you heard it, man? I hear it so much that I'm numb to it. Shams Sharania. Shams said it. All I'm asking, to die for is in the building. Juju in the building. Brian is in the building. What's good, BB? Virtuoso, what's good? Quiet Money is in the building. Allah Wise, Juju is in the building. Hotline Bling, Manchild was good. Nev the Disruptor is in the building. How many times have you heard it? And how many times do you have to be reminded of it? D Block is in the building. Salute, salute. Ed Walker's in the building. What's happening? How many times do you have to be reminded of it? That the Knicks now all of a sudden are really now we're really motivated to get a star this time. Jay, what's good? Jay's Biz says, yo, a million, man. Yo, we hear this stuff. It's like that song. You love to hear the story again and again of how it all got started way back when, right? This is the thing with Knicks chasing stars, man. It's the same thing over and over. The Knicks are mediocre. They get blown out on national TV and embarrassed, right? All of a sudden, the Knicks front office wake up from their nap. Now they're really angry and they're going to find a star. This time it's personal, right? Come on, y'all. How many times do we have to go over it? Jake, what's good, man? Ed Winning, thank you for the generous contribution. Ed says, front office choose now to get a superstar because their contract is expiring. They're trying to get it renewed. Right. And I'm with you, man. I mean, that was the thing, right? Wasn't that the thing? Go get a star. Leon Rose, his favorite client was Chris Paul, even all the way back then, almost 4 years ago. I think David Fizdale and that front office and Steve Mills were fired. I think it's 4 years ago now. It's 4 years ago. Scott Perry was the man for a little while by himself. And then they talked to Leon Rose on that February. The end of January, they were like the worst kept secret in the world. Leon Rose was divesting himself from CAA so that he can take over the Knicks job. King Imbert says, bro, Obi Toppin and Cam Reddish are in the in-season tournament championship game. Boy, oh boy. King Imbert just put a rock in my shoe. King Imbert, I don't even have shoes on, and somehow you just managed to put a rock in my shoe. I got socks on, bro. And you somehow seem to put a rock in my shoe. You got me, big dog. You got me. Yeah, you got me, bro. Dang, man. It seems like this feeling that I'm having is only getting worse. But I'm just gonna listen. I'm gonna share a little bit more of this with y'all, and then I'm gonna get these guys off the screen.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
I bet they are.
Yeah,
I
good
mean,
luck.
they
They've
haven't
been trying to
for
lure.
years, not to
They've
get
been trying to
shines, but-
lure a superstar for 20 years. Chris.
Exactly.
So now they're
Exactly,
gonna
but
now
go
they got
ahead.
enough to trade when they wouldn't get Donovan Mitchell because they didn't want to give up all of the draft picks that they had stockpiled. Remember that? How long ago was
Yeah.
that?
And a lot.
Rob Parker. We don't have that was last year, Rob Parker. Oh God. Juju says Leon never really divested himself from CAA though. His loyalty still lie with them. Probably. Probably. Probably, man. You know? Quiet Money says, man, I don't want to hear this shit. Yeah, man. Bro, it's a reality, bro. It's a reality we facing, bro. It's a reality we facing. I mean, what do you guys want me to say? Quentin Grimes is the second coming? What do you want me to say? Mitchell Robinson has been working on his 3-point shot? I mean, what do y'all want me to say? Y'all want me to say Emmanuel Quickly has been crazy consistent all year? What do you want me to say? Josh Hart is 6'9"? What do y'all want me to say? Dante DiVincenzo is 6'7"? I mean, what do y'all want me to say? Julius Randle is an excellent decision maker all the time? What do y'all want me to say? Jalen Brunson is 6'5"? I mean, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to believe? What do you want me to believe? You want me to sing the song "A Spoonful of Medicine Makes the Something Go Down"? How the song go? A spoonful of sugar. A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. No, man. This ain't Mary Poppins, bro. It's real life. What do y'all want me to say? That you can't tell a word, you can't tell an ant that he can't move a rubber tree plant? Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant. That's what y'all want me to say? No, it's not Mary Poppins, y'all. You know, it's not Neverland. This is real life. Jalen Brunson is not 6'5". Quentin Grimes is not an NBA player. RJ Barrett is not consistent. Julius Randle is not a great decision maker all the time. Right? Josh Hart is not 6'9". Quickly is not consistent. Tom Thibodeau is not an innovator or, from what we see, a great leader. And despite all of that, despite all those things I just said, we overcome a lot of stuff and beat bad teams. Despite all of that, we overcome all of that and beat bad teams. Despite all of that. This team is like that train story about the train trying to go up the mountain, right? I forget how the story goes. The train that everybody said you can't make it up the mountain, and the train is telling everybody, no, you got to have faith in yourself. You got to believe. Corey Lee is in the building. Corey Lee says, yo, fam, you're more frustrated than anything. What they're saying. And they're trying to do is add salt to the wound of our loss, and we are still 500, but it's all good. The take for us is no. Corey Lee, what that is a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. That's what that is. So there is some frustration, right? There is some frustration, right? But it's not frustration from a singularity. It's frustration from multiplicities. Things that occur, that overlap and reoccur. This is frustration from multiplicities, bro. It's not a singularity. It's not like a Knicks player tore his Achilles and our season's over. No, these things are all the things that I mentioned, are all the stuff that you guys talk about all the time, and these things have not changed. Justo 11 says too many people are waiting. I'm gonna have a shoe full of rocks, y'all, after this. I'm gonna have a shoe full of rocks after this. Too many people are waiting for our youth to turn into a dynasty. Reality is we have 2 all-star talents that need a guy who can score without his handheld. Right. Justo 11, you said it all, brother. You said it all, brother. Edward Walker says, what is the solution? Let me leave it. I need to leave that on the thing for. I need to give that some thought. Ed Walker, I need to give that some thought. Some serious thought. Because the solution morphs when you search for answers. Right? And the reason why I say that, and it sounds like a cop-out, I don't want you to think that way. I just want you to think of it, when I state this, think of it as a multifaceted answer, bringing all those answers together as a solution. Say, for instance, the Knicks get a all-star shooting guard from a team. Say they get an all-star shooting guard from a team. Not a megastar, just an all-star level shooting guard. 20 points per game. Come in and fit nicely in between Brunson, RJ, and Randall. Then do you really need a megastar? I don't think you can. Because at that point, you want to at least take your chances. You at least want to you may not be able to meet Cinderella in the streets, but you can at least meet Cinderella at the ball, right? So I'm not guaranteeing that you'll be able to get Cinderella, but at least you'll be in the same place at the same time. Or you can package Randall and RJ and quickly and go for it. Ring the alarm. You can package Randall, RJ quickly, put all your chips into the table, in the middle of the table, and go get a guy to play with Brunson. And though I don't like that possibility, Ed Walker asked me for a solution. And though I don't like that solution, you know, the Knicks have a major financial commitment made to all the guys on this roster. Whereas making them see, in theory, everybody taking a hometown discount. Everybody taking a hometown discount sounds like the thing. Yo, Selly is in the building. In theory, giving everybody a hometown discount works. But now, since you have so much money spread out over so many players, if you were to go after a max contract guy, just say Jaylen Brown for an example. The Celtics are not trading Jaylen Brown, right? But just for an example. Yo, Selly in the building. D Blocks. Quiet Money. I see you. Quiet Money says, him and his fans of our problems. We can win games with Brunson, but he doesn't make anyone better. I feel you. Say Jaylen Brown is available. I don't know what Jaylen Brown makes. Just assume that he makes $50 million. If we had one $50 million player that the Celtics liked and some draft picks, we could just give them that $50 million player. And some draft picks. But instead, we'd have to see if they like Josh Hart, see if they like Randall, see if they like RJ, see if they like Fournier's contract, see if they like Mitch or Hartenstein. But if we had one $50 million guy, we could just send that guy and draft picks. But we're not in a position to do that. So now, every superstar or star level trade that we do, we have to do it with the mindset that another organization may or may not like the player that we send, or they may or may not like the protected first round picks that we have, or they may or may not like the dead money that is Evan Fournier's contract, or they may not like our unprotected picks. And that makes it complicated. Ron, thank you for the generous contribution. You call Obi trash, but he definitely ain't playing trash in Pace uniform. Shows is Knicks coaching. No, man. No. I think tonight, man, I'm gonna have a shoe full of rocks tonight, man. That's what y'all doing for me. Obi's numbers are inflated, bro. If Obi was on a team that played at our pace, he wouldn't put up numbers like this. And no disrespect to Obi or the Pacers. But come on, man. Are we really out here acting like the Pacers don't play with the highest pace in the NBA? The Indiana Pacers have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The Pacers have 8 players that average double-digit points. The Pacers have 8 players that average double-digit points. 8. 8. Justo 11, thank you for the generous contribution. Justo says people got to understand he's playing with the best player in the NBA, and Cam is playing with LeBron. These guys aren't core pieces. Yeah, yeah, man. There it is, and there it is. And there it is. And to be honest with you, I don't care anything about the Indiana Pacers or any other NBA team right now. This is not a NBA conversation. This is a Knicks conversation, man. And what the national media says about the Knicks, and what national journalists report about the Knicks. So our Knicks are stuck in the middle. Our Knicks are stuck in the middle. And as a Knicks fan, and I've been talking to y'all all day. I've been talking to Knicks fans all day long. I've been talking to Knicks fans all day. All day long, man. All day. All day. Knicks fans are no Uncle Freezy. The Knicks could be a top seed, but all we need is for. And as soon as you say all we need is, it's telling me right now that they aren't that good. And what you're saying, they are not going to be that. You are who you are. And I think you guys respect my sports knowledge enough to know that I'm not going to sit up here and just shoot you the gas for the sake of gas shooting. Yeah, as a matter of fact, at the beginning of the season, I told Corey Lee the Giants were trash. I told my friend Corey Lee straight to his face, eyeball to eyeball, bro, your Giants are trash. Right? He told you, look at me. What about your Bears? Hey man, my Bears are trash too. It take one to know one. I told Corey Lee straight up to his eyeballs, me, Hoodie Cav, IKBM Dre, Mets were all on a panel, and I told Dre, bro, your Jets ain't it, bro. I told him and Hoodie Cav, eyeball to eyeball, your Jets ain't gonna be it, bro. They're gonna be trash. And I think y'all respect my sports knowledge enough to know that when teams are good, I call them good. When teams are trash, I call them trash. When players are good, I call them good. When players are trash, I call them trash. And you can make every excuse in the book for it to be to the alternative. But if the end result is what I said before it happened, then I'm right. Justo11 says, we feel like the grit and grind Grizzlies, good enough to win games, but not for a chip. Front office doesn't seem like they want to win. Bob Myers got KD and won. Right. Exactly. Thank you for the generous contribution. I look Corey Lee, and listen, out of respect, I respect Corey Lee. I could have shot Corey Lee the gas, like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Y'all had momentum, man. You know, y'all got them nice young players, man. You know, you never know what's gonna happen, man. You know, yeah, man, if such and such go right, and you know, you never know what can happen. I didn't shoot him the gas. I ain't sugarcoat nothing. I told that man the Giants were going to be trash. Giants fans didn't like it. And here we are, 1 week into December, and the Giants are trash. On draft night, I called Quentin Grimes a ham sandwich. And I tried to bend, and I tried to acquiesce to the crowd, like, you know, maybe, you know, I believe Quentin Grimes is going to have a Paul George or Kawhi Leonard type impact on the Knicks. Not around the league, because he's not going to be a megastar, but just on the Knicks. I tried to do that, and it was like castor oil coming on my tongue, bro, when I was saying it. I knew I shouldn't have flexed, been malleable to Grimes. I knew I shouldn't. When I was doing it, I was like, yo, this ain't really you, man. And now look at him. All I'm saying, y'all, is I put a lot of time into this. I put a lot of time into sports, man. I put a lot of time into research. Look at a lot of numbers, not because it's work, but to me, because it's fun. I put a lot of time into it, man. This is a good 40 plus 50 years of me just enjoying sports and just watching it, just going in the 70s, walking to the corner store, getting the daily news, right? Reading box scores. All the stuff before the internet, put all this time in. I legit am a database of useless information, especially about the Knicks. I can't take this Knicks information anywhere and make anything of it except talk about it. on the internet with you guys. And so when I tell you the Knicks are in a spot that's familiar, mediocrity, I know we are because I've been here before. Like that dance club song, Heard It All Before? Heard it all before. Come home late. Barely did you beat the sun. Tapping my shoulder. Wishing you can get you some. Smelling like a fragrance that I don't even wear. Just like that song, I've heard it all before. I've heard it all before. I know what I'm talking about, not because I'm a genius, but because I've experienced it too many times. And you guys have too. We're at a place where we have two good NBA players, whether you think they're stars or not, two really good NBA players. We have two borderline stars that can't quite figure it out in Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett. We have good players in Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart. And everybody else is a Yogi Bear picnic. And for the most part, I know what you guys are going to say. Well, Uncle Freezy, there are a lot of teams that have two good players and everybody else is a Yogi Bear picnic. Right, but I don't root for a lot of NBA teams. I'm a Knicks fan. I don't care about keeping track of them. But what do you? I'm talking to everybody in the chat. I'm talking to you in the chat. If you heard me, I'm talking to you. What do you want? If you heard me just now, tell me what you want. Don't talk to me about life because life and sports are two different things. In real life, I can control some stuff, right? But mostly things are out of my control. So I can control the things I can control and don't worry about the stuff that I can't. In sports, you don't control anything. You can go to the game and you can boo until you lose your voice. But Julius Randle check gonna hit on Friday morning. So if you hear me, I'm asking you, see, because the challenge is not for you to convince me because you can't. The challenge is admitting with a clear conscience what you want. See, you can lie to me and we can lie to each other, but you can't lie to yourself. Right? You can dress stuff up for me. You're like, hey, Uncle Freezy, I went to the game, and even though we lost by 11 to the Detroit Pistons, I really enjoyed the experience. I love Madison Square Garden. And I'm just making just a random thing up just for GP. Right? Fritz Alcindor is in the building. Mike Edmonds was good. B-baller for real in the spot. Ron is in the building. Okay. To die for is in here. I'm asking you guys what you guys want. Because you can shoot me the gas, right? You can shoot me the gas. Hey, Uncle Freezy, in the next 5 years, I just hope we contend for a championship. I just want this team to play organic. I just want it to be the 04 Pistons. I just want it to be like the 79 Seattle Supersonics. You could try. I mean, y'all can say these things ultimately in your heart when you watch other teams hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy. When one team is up 3-1 and game 5 is at home and you see them wheeling the ski goggles and the champagne into the winning team's locker room with 6 minutes left to go because it's a blowout. And when you see the custodian with the suit on and the white gloves polishing up the Larry O'Brien trophy and the finals MVP trophy, you can't go through that moment and not wish the Knicks were in that moment. Because if you go through that moment and as a sports fan not wish that was your team, then you have other issues bigger than rooting for your team to win a championship. When you see a team dribbling out the clock on the season with 11 seconds left, they just standing there dribbling and they want to throw the basketball up in the air and everybody is hugging. The two teams are hugging while the clock going down. One team got an 18-point lead about to win. And two teams that were desperate to beat each other finally concede that one team is better. And then the clock goes off and the confetti comes out of the ceiling. And you see grown men collapse to the floor and cry. And you not want that to be the Knicks? Then I don't know what to say about you then. Or if you're in that camp of yo, Uncle Freezy, rebuilds take time. Yo, some rebuilds take 7 to 8 years, Uncle Freezy. Sometimes a rebuild might take 10 years, man. We just in year 3. We got 7 more years of waiting. No, we don't. No, we don't. Rebuilds take 3 years, and if it hasn't worked, they stop what they're doing, scrap it, and either go get veterans or they'll scrap that rebuild, tear that rebuild down, and try the rebuild again, doing another means of thinking. But if your team has been rebuilding for 5 years, Think about what I'm saying, y'all. If your team has been rebuilding for 5 years and you don't have a generational talent, or even worse, and this is for my main man, Corey Lee. Corey Lee says, we are only 20 games, and unfortunately, I still on this supposedly sinking ship. Fuck it, because I'm in that I believe mode and some real. Right. Lee is in that boat of you can't tell an ant that he can't move a rubber tree plant. Right? Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant. Mary Poppins. Or the story about the train telling the other trains going up the mountain, you got to believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, anything is possible. But here's why Corey Lee is absolutely wrong. And that's my guy. I'm talking about on this point. I'm not talking about in general because he's right on a lot of stuff. On this one, this is why he's absolutely wrong. How are you in a rebuild when you're not even drafting talent? Somebody explain that. Somebody explain that to me. How are you in a rebuild and you're not even drafting young talent? Can somebody explain that one to me? How are you in a rebuild and you're not even drafting talent? You're operating as if you're one piece away from a championship. Fritz Alcindor says, if you're not drafting, you're retooling. Right. The Knicks are not in a rebuilding mode. They're not drafting young talent, everybody. Think about this. Jericho Sims was the last draft pick that they made of consequence. A dude that doesn't even play. Before him, it was Deuce McBride, who we love, by the way. Love Deuce McBride. But a dude that doesn't even play. And before him, a dude named Rokas Jokubaitis. A dude that's not suited up one game for this Knicks team. And before him, Quentin Grimes. But the fans are the culprit. Nick Yak is in the building. Nick Yak says, who don't see Brunson make at least one, most times both, either take a charge and getting a steal on defense, plus all that clutch offense. Right. I like Brunson. I respect Brunson. But I'll tell you this, though. you don't have to get Boston fans riled up. You think on the Celtics at Night podcast they're talking like this? You think the host of the Celtics at Night podcast is talking like this? Hell no. Boston is saying, if you don't shape up, we're going to ship you out of here. Boston is in perpetual win now mode. JJ, all this Knicks disappointment and Mets disappointment got me frustrated, bro. How the Mets don't get Juan Soto or Ohtani or Yamamoto? What are we doing out here? Dre says Boston done traded players 10 times more accomplished than dudes we crying to keep. Dang, Dre. Dre, relax, bro. Dre coming here with swords out and everything. Wow. Dre, hey, IKBM Dre is coming in here with swords out. Man, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I came in like a windbag. Now the bag is empty. You know what? I don't even feel like talking no more, man. I'm frustrated. My voice is going. I'm going to put the link in the chat so me and JJ can hang out. So me and JJ can put some tears in our beers. And Corey Lee says, and the Bears are the icing on the cake. Yep. Trash. Trash. The Knicks are just the icing on the cake, man. Severe says Tibbs not looking to develop young talent. We could have drafted Halliburton, and Tibbs would have never handed him the keys, period. Sally, what's good, bro?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Ain't nothing. Ain't nothing to it. Lee, what's good, boss?
What's good? Hold on a second. Let me turn this my phone.
Lee coming to say, hold on for a second.
What's good? Hold on a second.
Lee coming to say, hold on for a second.
I'm good.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Man, you had to put all my business out there in the streets like that, man. You wrong for that.
Some of the Giants, they trash. I told you there was gonna be trash. Did I, bro? Did I not tell you there was gonna be trash and explain why? I explained why it was gonna be trash, right?
Oh, you must have been hanging out with Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith. You know what I'm saying? When they was throwing out all that salt, right? You just trying to hurt the wounds.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Oh, man, look here. I'm not buying that. I'm sorry. And and if I gotta be the president for the moment or the sucker for the moment, I'll be that. But I'm gonna rock until.
So what's the truth? What's the truth then?
What's the truth? I don't
The
know what the
truth.
truth is. The truth is
So
at the end of
if
the
you don't
year.
know what the truth, if you don't know what the truth is, how can
The truth
everything
is
else
that
be a lie?
hold on a second, bro. The truth is when 82 games is over with, and if we don't make it to the playoffs, and where we end up, you know what I'm saying? That's what the truth is. The truth ain't in what these cats are saying. These cats are entertainers. You know what I'm saying? Half of them don't even know today's game. You know what I'm saying? The other half are just journalists. You know, mm-mm. Because they've been.
Sham Charania is a respected journalist, and he
Oh no, he
reported
is.
that the Knicks are in search of a superstar.
Okay, well, we'll see where we're gonna get one from because I don't know anybody available.
No. Listen to what I said. Sham Charania reported that the Knicks are in search of a superstar. So Shams
Okay,
did
we've
his
been.
job. Shams did his job. All he reported was that the Knicks are searching for a superstar. So he did his job. Now, what superstar
Hold on
and
a
how
second.
he gets here is not on Shams. That's on the Knicks.
Oh, I get that part, but then also too, he also said that was it possibly coming to the Knicks too? What's his name? Zach Levine. You know, did he put that out there a few times the last 3 or 4 years?
I don't know.
You know,
I don't recall that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just
I
saying.
could say like the reports
What's up, Greg?
regarding what up, Core? What up, Silly? What up, Freezy? What up to the chat? I could
Oh,
say
what
the
up, Steph?
reports
What
about
the-
Zach Levine were more so like the Knicks have been interested, not that Zach Levine was coming or that Zach Levine has ever wanted to come here. He's already like it's kind of like the rumors have already been put out that Zach Levine already has like preferred destinations, places that
Not
he
only
will
that,
use trade kicker for. So, and we aren't one of those.
but not only
So,
that, but not only that, but what the real deal is him and Tibbs don't mesh well anyway from Minnesota.
I mean,
So
he tore his ACL and traded him immediately after.
it's like, hey, man, you know,
I know it's a business, but I wouldn't rock with somebody that
Yeah,
had me playing 40 minutes a night.
it,
Then I tear my ACL. Then you trade me for Jimmy Butler
yeah.
immediately.
And see, in the streets, we call that dirty.
oh hell yeah.
You could say it's a business, but that's foul.
Yeah, that's yeah. You gonna
But
keep
then
you gonna get rid of that man when he down, bro?
Sold
hey
them
man,
as used goods, man. Damaged goods.
but but see this if you not see this is like the body is left behind. Tibbs left behind, you know, and that's just the truth. The body is Tibbs left behind. You know what I'm saying? And the people that he's held on to. You know, I'm telling you right now, and that's the only thing I'm in for. It, I'm not even. It's not even really about too much the roster. You know what I'm saying? Other than what I'm saying, the most outstanding parts that need to get rid of, we need to get rid of. But it's more so the one leading the train, leading the band. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
The conductor has to go.
I'm gonna say this: if
No, no, bro. No.
Leon Rose would be a terrible spades partner.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. You had all them spades, bro. You ain't got no books. But Lee, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Why it doesn't work. Why I disagree with you on this topic. Now, you and I generally align more
We get
so
along.
than anybody else that be on
Mhm,
the live stream. Usually, you and I are the ones that are synchronous, right? This
mhm,
topic right here, though, I totally think you just ducking your head in the sand on this one and hoping for a great outcome on this one, right? And here's why. And I'm just gonna cut to the core point.
mhm,
James Dolan hired a green rookie front office and a
mhm,
super manipulative, experienced head coach. And by
mhm,
doing that, he put the front office at a disadvantage because the head coach knows more about the inner workings of day-to-day NBA basketball than the front office does.
And when you do that, you basically are like you're playing with like one hand behind your back because you just letting somebody that has his own types of ideas of what would work in the NBA, even if it doesn't match up with
Right.
2023 basketball. So
Right.
like we can have like a bunch of voices in the front office, right? But as long as Tibbs is there, he's gonna navigate the team to play who he wants to play,
Right.
play them how he wants to play them, and then
Right.
he'll still have a little bit of say in terms of who we draft.
Because ultimately, when the front office makes their first pick, say it's Obi Toppin, and Tibbs wanted Devin Vassell, right? Say Tibbs desperately wanted a shooting guard defender that could impose his will, right? But the front office is like, nah, we taking Obi. Now, whoever else after Obi, we'll give you carte blanche, but our first pick ever is going to be Obi,
Which
right?
is also a nepotism move.
Right. And so, you feel me? So here's the thing, right? You know what? Once Tibbs breaks Obi's confidence because he didn't get his way, you know what he's gonna do? Go to the front office. See, I told y'all should have listened to me. That dude y'all picked is trash. Well, you know why he trash? Because you
never
made
wanted
him trash.
You never wanted him.
Yeah, you talking about the land of unwanted toys. You know what I'm saying? Now,
And as a Giants fan, you should know that because y'all had a general manager. The Giants had a general manager where y'all knew y'all needed receivers desperately, right? And he was in press conferences talking about hog mollies.
I know exactly, and I knew he had to go day one.
Right.
I knew he had to go day one. But I'm gonna say this. And I mean this. So Tibbs is the one who has to go. If in order for this team to get better, he has to go.
But the problem is with that. You let him go. There's no shield for Leon Rose. Like if it comes down to that, then like someone's gonna fall on the sword for it. Usually it's the coach, right? And if it's the coach, then Leon Rose has no shield, and then he's gonna hire another coach, right? That may assume the same type of role that Tibbs has, but have too much autonomy. And it looks like this guy doesn't really necessarily know how to pick the right basketball mind to start a team.
Right.
It's like not all agents turn president of operations are silly. Like the Lakers guy is
right.
But
or he can go the total opposite direction. See, if Tibbs don't work, right, then he'll lean all the way the opposite direction and pick a young, impressionable dude, right? A young, impressionable guy that they can just bark all their orders to, and the coach is hamstrung on coaching every night, like what the Knicks did with Jeff Hornacek.
Yep. I remember Phil Jackson said, "Yo, you need to coach with you have to put the triangle offense."
Oh God.
Oh, of course, but he lined it up with all his soldiers.
Bums.
With Kurt Rambis.
That man drafted Frank Ntilikina.
He put him in a no-win situation when it came down to that. We're talking about a totally inept cat. You know what I'm saying? Cat who didn't want to be here, but he got thrown all his money in his face, and no fool would turn down no money.
Why would I turn down $70 million? It's crazy.
Exactly.
He took it.
He still got growth farms right now out there in Wyoming.
He took
you know
it.
What I'm saying? Because of that.
Won the last draft and then quit like 7 days later, or got fired 7 days later.
Exactly.
After the draft.
Exactly, because he didn't want to be here.
We do everything backwards over here.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily backwards.
Well, no, we're not backwards. Yeah, I agree with you, Corey. It's not always backwards, but it's like we move on a place of complacency instead of urgency.
Oh, no, not.
This is a representation of not drafting well. This is what all the teams that don't draft well have. You go down the list. If you don't draft well, you get left behind. And then you start blaming the coaches. You start blaming this, blaming that. It's just you don't draft well.
But what does it mean if the coach actually has say on who gets drafted? Because there's
That's
about
bad
4
too.
guys on the Knicks team that are drafted because Tibbs likes them.
That's bad too. I mean, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying this is if you go throughout the NBA, it's clear you can see the winners that have drafted well and the ones that have not. I mean, it's just clear.
It's
So
like
what do, at this
it's,
so at this point, so what do we do?
Oh yeah,
We,
I
cut
got the
bait.
answer
We
for
cut.
you.
yeah,
Hold on, you do what we cut bait and clean house again, and then we
Right
go
now you'd rather be the
and
Wizards.
start another 4 years. You
Yep.
start another 4 years into it.
Yep. Because you're not going to be able to compete with Orlando and Indiana moving forward. You won't even be able to bring in enough
We
talent.
haven't played them yet. No, first of all, we haven't played them yet, and then we
he's
already.
speaking on their future trajectory, not this year. He's talking about next year, year after that.
Yeah, I'm talking about like Orlando
Most of that
and
core are super
Indiana.
young.
Yeah, like Franz Wagner and Banchero with Suggs is a better trio than anything you could put together. Like that's just a better trio. It's showing at least right now.
I won't throw Suggs in there just yet, but
Well,
Banchero and
defensively,
Franz.
he's playing really good. Suggs is
Banchero and Franz are going to be a problem going forward.
Yeah. So I mean, just go, and that's not even including Wendell Carter and some of the other talent they have. But the way I've been looking at the league is not about your team specifically. It's about how all the other teams have done a good job. There's a lot of teams that have done a really good job. Orlando being one of them.
The Pacers had like a rebuild in 2 years, and they're like in position where, luckily for them, their franchise player is an elite point guard that can make everybody better. So it like you want to get him like a number 2 scoring option, but after that, you could throw essentially anything that fits around him and his skill set, and it'll be fine going forward. Whereas we're in a situation where we don't have this transcendent type playmaker that can make everybody better, at least consistently, right? So when you're in that type of scenario, you have to have A1 team building. You have to have guys basically around the same age and talented that are cohesive. But when you have like a guy like Tyrese Halliburton is damn near like, remember when Steve Nash was in his prime and Amari went down and he still carried that team to the playoffs? Like when you have those types of guards, you can withstand like mediocre fits because he can make a bad fit work anyway because he's just that talented. So they're in a situation where they can make like a move for like a Pascal or something, and then still surround them with a few other players, and they'll be okay, or they'll be productive while he's ascended to his prime. Whereas in the situation we're in right now, we have talent on this team, but the talent doesn't necessarily fit the way you want it to, and like the coaching may not be in the most optimal place to make players that don't fit ideally work. Like you need like for you to say you need an innovator at that point, right? And if you don't have an innovator, you're just crashing into a wall over and over, hoping for a different result. And when you looking around the league, it's just like I'm gonna be for real with you, Freezy. There's nobody on the Knicks right now that has like the potential ceiling of a Paolo or maybe a Franz. Now, we speaking right now, those 2 guys may never hit like that ceiling. That's also very possible. And right now, Brunson is playing out of his mind, but I don't know how much better he can get. It's one of those things where you just gotta weigh: do you strike while the iron is hot? Do you get the star in here no matter what it costs, and then figure it out over the next 1 to 2 to 3 years to try to build a contender? If you're not willing to do that, you might as well just pack it up and just start from scratch because you just sitting on your hands.
Yeah, Justo11, thank you for the generous contribution. Justo says, man, if we gave Bob Myers 1 year, I'd cry with joy. I think I'm with you, bro. I think I'm with you.
Got to be able to make tough decisions.
Yeah, and the other one he mentioned, We feel like the grit and ground Grizzlies just not good enough to win a lot of games, but not good enough to get past the second round. That may be where we are.
Good enough to not be good enough.
Not in the same fashion, but the same result.
I think we actually do share similarities with them. We do grind for a lot.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about when Charles Barkley said room for error,
Yeah.
we can't out athlete other teams. Most of the time, we don't really outskill other teams outside of Brunson. We do it by brute force, brick by brick, not turning the ball over, out rebounding other teams, attempting to scheme teams into dribbling into Mitch, and Mitch being the glue that holds this entire team together.
Right.
Like we don't get into track meets because you see what happens when we get into a track meet. You saw
Yeah.
last game.
Right. And I'll ask Corey Lee this. Lee, which NCAA head coach had more success? Oh God, I see his name. John Wooden, the master recruiter, or Bobby Knight, the fundamental guy. Which guy you think had the better career in college? The recruiter, the Jimmies and Joes, or the X's and O's?
The Jimmys and Joes.
Yeah, you remember when Notre Dame used to win championships in football?
Yeah.
And they used to win
Notre
they used to win national championships every few years, regardless who the head coach was. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Say
Notre
that
Dame,
about Miami too.
yeah, and Notre Dame, like Notre Dame had did it like that since the 30s, right? Because they went out. They had Notre Dame used to have dudes at positions named Rocket Ismail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guys like that, right? And so I think we may be taking the Hoosiers approach, and I don't know if the Hoosiers approach can be leaned on
I was
to
gonna
win a
say, Freezy,
championship.
you can. There's a reason why like only one team like the Pistons ever won a title in the NBA. Like
They had been there 7 times, bro.
I'm saying, but when they won it, they were there like 1 year before that or two because they won it in 2003 or 2004. Like they
2004.
went to the Eastern Conference Finals after that, like 4 more times
Yeah.
after that year. But
Yep.
they've been there, right? But that was like a collection of talent. But usually, not even almost, like 99 times out of 100, the NBA champion has a top 10 player on it,
Yeah, and
or a
that
guy
Pistons
performing at a
thing,
top 5 level.
that Pistons thing is an anomaly. Like the
And they had the greatest defense, arguably
yeah,
one of the greatest
because
defenses of
of
all
the
time.
rules. And you
Yeah.
notice when the rules changed in 2006, 2 years before, 2 years before Steph Curry entered the league is when the rules changed. So you notice when after those rules changed, you never saw the Detroit Pistons again, right?
Yeah. You never seen a defensive first team win a championship since that point.
And so ultimately what I'm saying is every time people say, well, Cinderella won the championship, it's always because there is an anomaly somewhere, right? Like the 79 Supersonics, they was the example. They were the example before the 04 Pistons, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have a superstar. You don't have to have Kareem. They won it with downtown Freddie Brown, Dennis Johnson, Ray Williams, and some guy. They were just jump shooting, man. They was just shooting that ball, man. You couldn't stop them, bro. You know what I'm saying? You just couldn't stop them. They would run 3 guards and spread just defense out so thin. Back then, small forwards didn't even guard on the perimeter like that. Small forwards didn't guard on the small
They
forwards.
didn't know what to do with that at that point.
Small forwards were not wing players. Small forwards was a smaller version of the power forward. That's where they get their name from.
He's
right?
a small forward just because he wasn't 6'8".
Yeah, he's the small forward because he's not the power forward, right? And Seattle would spread them guys out, and your small forward would be scared to go out there, and they would shoot them jump shots, man. They call him downtown Freddie Brown, bro, for a reason. And same thing with it because they caught an anomaly and they took advantage of it. And when the anomaly went away, so did the Pistons. So did the Sonics.
This
Right?
is this is why, like, when you look at how the Miami Heat do it, there's a reason when they get to the finals they run out of gas, because it's only but so long a guy can perform at this top 5, top 10 level when he's really not that type of guy. It's like, it's not a jab to them, but Jimmy Butler performs at an insanely high level in the playoffs. But eventually he runs out of gas, whether it's injury or he's just not to the caliber of the players he's going against in the finals. Like Jimmy
Oh,
Butler, when he ran into the Lakers, is he LeBron? No, he's not.
no, he's not LeBron.
Is he Jokic? No, he is
No,
not.
he's not.
So it's about Jims and Joes at that point. When you get
Yep.
to the highest level, now you can win a series. You might even be able to win 2 series. Hell, you might win 3, but you're not gonna scratch off 4 in a row with the least talented team.
You're not, and so basically what we're comparing it to is, and so with the Knicks and the Miami Heat, and I hate to say this to everybody, to Mike and everybody in the chat, Big Dilf and everybody in the chat, D Hall in the building was good. Everybody, Adam, I think I saw Adam in here too. What I'm saying to y'all is that the Knicks are using the NBA's version of Moneyball to get
Exactly.
wins, right? That's what they're doing, right? They're going to put Scott Hatterberg on first base because he walks a lot, not because he hit home runs. That's why you see Josh Hart, a 6'4", 6'5" point guard, shooting guard, playing power forward for us.
Got a lot of slap hitters on this team.
Yep. Because it's about on base percentage, and basically what the Knicks are saying is we're gonna overpay slightly guys that are not $30 million guys. We can't find a $47 million guy. So what we'll do is take 3 guys and glue it together to get a $47 million guy. That's their approach. And you could see it's clear as day.
They're trying to
Right.
win within the margins instead of win with what actually works in today's
Yep.
It's like, there's a reason why Miami was trying to get Dame,
Right.
and the Bucks was like, "Yo, we need to get him right now."
Yep.
There's a reason why teams shuffle the deck for guys that don't just make $25 million. They want the $35-40 million player,
Right.
because talent ultimately closes that gap. Because when you get to the playoffs, Reezy, guess what? Your talented players are playing 40 minutes a night. And who cares about your Josh Hart that plays
Right.
25 minutes when you're going against Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and Porzingis and Drew Holiday, and they're all playing 41, 42 minutes. If the game is even close at that point. If the game is close.
Right. And shout out to Nick Yak. So Nick Yak says we have the best 9-man rotation. So and nobody, I'm not disputing that in terms of the 9-man rotation, even though I think there are a couple of flawed players in that rotation right now. Right. I think Quickly is flawed, and Quickly is my heartstring. And y'all know that break my heart to say that Quickly ain't playing good right now. But Quickly and Grimes and RJ are suspect right now.
Extremely suspect.
Right. And depending on the night that you get, Dante DiVincenzo can be excellent or marginal.
Or
he's
not
gonna be
even a factor.
Yeah.
And when Nick Yak mentions 9-man rotations, I've seen multiple teams win championships on 7-man rotations.
Right.
8-man rotations when
Right.
it comes down to it. Because when you get into these later rounds, it's about who you have, not who is your. Oh, we have a better 7th man than you. Okay, what if my 1 through 4 is better than yours? Then what?
What is my number 1 is better than your number 1? Right. What if I have Michael Jordan and you have Dominique Wilkins?
Clyde
Dominique
Drexler.
Wilkins is great.
If I have Larry Bird and you have Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
when Michael Jordan couldn't beat Larry Bird.
I'm saying, but you could just drop the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers had a team with depth, right, Freezy? Trailblazers early 90s had a team with depth.
Michael
a
Jordan
superstar.
comparison is by far the most historical. Like, how did Michael Jordan not beat Larry Bird in the playoffs?
Well, there's like
6-0.
4 Hall of Famers he was playing with at the time.
Well, I mean,
Mike
at the
had
time,
Pippen,
Larry Bird was just better than Mike Jordan. And you could
and,
just say Larry
yeah,
Bird was just better than Mike Jordan.
He
Period.
was better, but that team was also better than
but hold on,
Right.
but that's after Larry Bird came back from back surgery.
Right. Right.
And Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen,
Scotty
Right.
wasn't Scotty at that point.
but Larry Bird
either.
was what, 70% of what he used to be.
Right.
This is just historical, where what you guys are talking about is basketball without a dominant big is at times will be the hottest team wins. Once you get the dominant big, like Jokic, Shaq, Duncan, once you start getting the bigs, then you can kind of you can find more consistency.
I
That's
was
why I
gonna
think Bucks. That's why the Celtics went and got KP, because they realized they got to go up against Brook Lopez. They're going to have to go up against Giannis.
you got to pull them up out the paint, man.
Who's that?
You got to pull those bigs up out the paint. That's
Yeah,
what they
but
got to do.
Game
And you
7 ain't played that way, though. Game 7's played with a lot of elbows.
I mean, of course, but
know.
when we talking about like the tactics of the NBA, right? We all know what the Bucks want to do. The Bucks want to sit and drop coverage all game with Brook Lopez and Giannis on the weak side helping protect the rim. You can't do that if you got a stretch 5 out there. Like
Right.
that completely eliminates what they want to do on defense in terms of and when they want to do that on defense, the reason why they want to play that drop coverage is to mitigate their mediocre guard play on defense. That's why they want to do that. And when you put KP out there, it just stretches guys like Chris Middleton, who's lost the step. It stretches guys like Dame on defense. That other kid that they had that was killing us from 3, it makes their life harder.
A random. Hey, D Hall, thank you for the generous contribution. D Hall says, would a spider trade change your outlook long term? Yes.
What is long
Absolutely.
term?
Absolutely.
Like 4 years, 5 years?
I think I have Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell in the same window. So whatever it is with Jalen Brunson, I got Donovan Mitchell in that same. So they're the same age. Their birthdays are 7 days apart, right? So you put those two together and say you do rock for 5 years. Okay. Yeah, that 5 years would be long term for us. I think you can win I think you can win a championship in that 5-year window.
If you put them two together, I'm not gonna lie to you, Frizzy. You're gonna have to swap out like Randall for something else that meshes like more ideally to make up for the fact that they're two smaller guards that aren't necessarily defenders. Like you got to put 3 positive plus defenders and like maybe an extra spacer or 2 on the court. That's not an indictment on Randall. It's just like we talking about fit and what works in the modern NBA.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you on but for this. I disagree with you for this. I think RJ is the one that has to go.
I think both of them got to go.
Yeah, because at least with RJ, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, Sally, just real quick. I think RJ would have to go in that scenario so that you can get that do it all Swiss Army knife type player to fit in between the front court and the back court, right? Because with Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson, the first thing comes to my mind is the lineup flexibility where you can go super small with some Randall at the 5.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
but Randall don't want. Well, I won't say Randall doesn't want to do it, but this coach.
Hold on. Let me.
You're right.
Interject. Let me finish the thing just real quick. I think if you add, say a real small forward in between those two, and then add a Denny Avdija type to that group where you can run all those guys. Now you have 2 6'9" guys on the wing and Randall at the 5. I think ultimately the rim protection would be what it is because you'd have guys that can come in and help Randall at the rim because Randall's not a leaper. He's not a jumper. He's a power dunker. He's not a jump out the gym guy. So when you put a 6'8", 250 guy at center, you're already at a disadvantage with rim protection anyway, regardless. unless it's like a Zion type cat. And even you don't even want to put Zion at center in the NBA. But if you do that with Donovan and Jalen Brunson, now it gives you constant pressure on the opponent's rim, even when one of those guys goes to the bench.
Uh, the only thing that gives me concern, like I know it's an offensive leaning league, but when you get to the end stages of the NBA, you need to be a really like a good defensive team. Like you can't just be middle of the pack. You got to be top 10 on defense and like top 5ish on offense in order to win. Like if you go back historically, like the last 10 years, almost every champion has been top 5 in defensive rating
Okay.
overall. So when you're trying to like put Donovan Mitchell, Randall, Brunson in a lineup without an elite rim protector, even if you're trying to do it by committee or like a switching type defense, just two guys alone is not
What
going
are
to
you
be able
doing?
to
What are you? Wait a
cover.
minute. What are you doing
Or
with Mitchell
just two guys
Robinson?
alone are not going to be
Wait a
able
minute.
to cover.
What are you doing with Mitchell Robinson?
But you just said put Randall at the 5.
No, I said in spurts.
Okay, Spurs. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then plus two, the Knicks over the last 3 years have had a decent defense too, and that has gotten them diddly poo.
Absolutely nothing. No. They've had a decent defense, but they've never had the offense to go with said defense.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm just saying, if you're targeting the offense, you might take a decline in defense. But I think that's definitely better than what we're going through right now, without a
Right.
doubt. Not even that would make us at least viewed as formidable, at the very least. But
I'm doing it.
but my thing is, we got too many guys on this team that do just one thing or play one direction.
Because it's money ball. It's
We
the
got
money
too
ball
many
approach.
specialists.
Yeah, because it's money ball. Cause you have a bunch of dudes that can only score in transition at the free throw line or from 3.
Yeah.
That's it. A bunch of them dudes,
Sounds like the Mavericks.
pretty much.
Sounds just like the Mavericks. Same
Yeah.
shit.
And they're
Yeah.
just like the whole roster got to get spoon fed by Luca, or nothing will work.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a lot of problems teams have because
Like OKC.
well, they're behind the curve. They're behind the curve. The basketball has changed, and the teams that are changing it are teams like OKC, teams like the Magic, teams like you're going big at guard. This whole 6'2" guy, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. If Kyrie Irving was entering a draft, he would be a bottom first round pick. Just because off of his size. The league is so big. Yeah, I mean, another 2-3 years, you're not going to be able to go out there with a 6'2" guard. There's times I'm watching just Kyrie and I'm like, he has to do all this magician stuff or he can't get a shot off. It's just, what's Banchero going to be like 2 years from now? You're going to have to go up against that. And if you're bringing in Spider and Brunson, it's going to be tough to face a 6'10" guard.
Yeah. Well, it's still a 3-point shooting league right now.
Yeah.
Right now it's still a 3-point shooting league. So, but to that point, I'm inclined to agree unless that 6'2" guard, 6'1" guard has to be elite at a certain thing. He's got to be an elite 3-point shooter or an elite bucket getter.
You got to be skilled. And to be absolutely honest, Donovan Mitchell and Brunson, if anything that they are skilled. But
defensively, like you can't have them both out there playing because you got to think you're going to end up playing a team like the Magic in the first round, right?
Right.
So that's going to be your first round playoff matchup. And you go out there with Spider and Brunson versus Banchero and Suggs or whoever else you want to put. Like you're just defensively, it's just not.
That's why Freezy's like you got to have 2 to 3 guys to supplement them.
But Denny Avita would be a fantastic pickup. I've been big on Denny for. I wanted him more than Grant Williams, even though he probably wasn't available. But Denny Avita is like top tier defender.
Right. He's a glue guy.
Dude, that kid's just unfortunately on the wrong team.
On the wrong team.
Because if he came to a contender, people will see how good he is. not like all-star good, but just all around defensive and how big he is. He can change the game.
He reminds me of a player that people sleep on. A dude named Ersan Ilyasova, right? Like when you take him off of a trash team and put him with other good players, you notice that his handles are really good.
Yeah.
You never notice that when he's playing with trash because he's anticipating somebody to cut back door and they don't go, and you see him throw the ball out of bounds, and you're like, what was he doing?
Right.
Well, the smart basketball play was for the guy to cut out of bounds, and he anticipated that. But the low IQ player that he's playing with didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And for that reason, the team is bad. Right. But when you take him off of that and add him, you see the 3-point shooting. Right. You see the dogged like defense on
He
the
can rebound.
opposition.
He can rebound. He can get the rebound and automatically go into a fast break.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think DC is going to trade him because I don't know if they can this year, but they want to cash the bag in.
Well. If does the extension start this year, or like when did he get
I
signed?
think he
Or is
signed
it
the extension this year. Yeah.
Okay, so he
So
can be
start next
traded
year.
at the 15th. Yeah, starting next. No, he can start at the 15th.
Okay. Well, I'm sure people are going to be calling about him because
Yeah.
and he would be a great pickup for the Knicks. He'd be a great pickup for any team, to be honest.
Yeah, if any team. Yeah.
He's one of those guys you just plug in and you don't think about him. He's just
Right.
there.
And I
And
think
and lineup flexibility with him too.
I'd like to see the Knicks go after Kuz. I mean, this is probably a pretty easy two to think about, but you guys have the picks, so you guys can make some splash, man. Like I said in the chat, if you guys could call and get Laurie Marketing or something like that, he's got a nice contract, and I think the Jazz would move off of him because they're not going to contend anytime. They're so far away.
But not with us though. There's a relationship issue.
Danny Ainge.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I was gonna say like Kuzma in the right role. Kuzma has shown he can be a championship 3.
I take him over Barrett, right?
But the problem with Kuzma is right now he's asked to be a 1, and he's just not that.
Yeah, and he's with Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's really.
I'm saying,
And you
regardless.
have to ask Kyle Kuzma. Think about what Kyle Kuzma wanted his entire career. He wanted to be featured, right? But you're not going to be featured when you're on the team with Brandon Ingram, D'Angelo Russell, all those, Josh Hart, all those guys. And you're also not going to be featured on a team with LeBron James.
Right.
So now you go to Washington and you're the guy. Do you want to go? Do you want to leave Washington and play and be the second, third, or fourth fiddle with the Knicks? And I don't know where he'll fit in there.
I think it would.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he'll fit. Whatever. Because
here's why I think he could do it. Here's why I think he could do it. Freezy.
I know he could do it though, but what I'm saying is his motivations. What's his personal motivation? Like, would you rather like Emmanuel Quickly? It could be the sixth man of the year for 10 straight years, but does he want to be? Does he want to come off the bench for his entire career? Yeah, that's the part that I'm talking about. Not to cut y'all point off. I'm just asking about people's motivations because everybody play for different reasons, right? And I think Kyle Kuzma wants to lead his own team. I think that's the vibe I got from him from day one.
I think he wanted to do it just so he can get his bag. Now that he has his bag, it's just like whatever it's him at this point.
That might be. That may be.
Yeah, because you're not gonna get the bag unless you put up 20, 25 points, whatever.
And we're all human, man. At the end of the day, sometimes we go through growing as a person, and it's just like, hey, I wanted that 3 years ago. Now I want to be playing in New York City on ESPN instead of buried in DC and hell.
Right. Instead of being in DC and half the crowd is Knicks and half is Wizards, and Denny Avdija
half is putting it nicely for you.
Yeah, I know, being respectful, right? But Denny Avdija after the game is frustrated with he's frustrated with losing, and just look at the camera and say, man, we're tired of losing, man, and Knicks fans coming into our arena, and we can't even hear the Wizards fans. All right, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said something along those lines. So maybe he did want to have his own team, and then now if he realizes what it's like when you get your own team, then maybe
what it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Not in DC. DC is during basketball season, it's a hockey town. DC is a hockey town.
Yeah, man.
They can give it, you go to a Washington Capitals game, there's no other team in there. You go to a Wizards game, it's just happy hour.
Yeah, basically. It's something,
Something to do. It's like going to a movie.
Yeah.
So it's not the same, but I could see Kuzma rolling too, man. I mean, these are all the names that are being thrown around in Dallas too.
Right.
So,
Right.
but it's the same. It's the same teams. Like, you want to go after DeAndre Ayton?
I think the Mavs wanted him, but I don't know if they still. They
What I'm
like
saying,
live. They like
Portland's
Lively
to
now.
hold him.
They just want to back up big over there now
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Lively.
But I mean, like I'm saying, like the Knicks. Would y'all want DeAndre Ayton? I don't think the Trailblazers are going to hold him,
I don't think so either.
because why would they? Like, what's the point? They're so
Yeah.
far away from contending.
Yeah, they're just rolling the ball out for the young guys, the young guards, and just letting them grow,
Yeah.
and then they'll figure out the rest later. Because the way it's looking, Shaden Sharp is going to be, at least if he doesn't become a star, he's going to be an elite scorer.
He's got to get
Yeah.
stronger, bro. I watched 4 Trailblazers games. And not to talk all Portland all the time, but
Still 20 though. Like he's gonna
yeah.
get strong. He's like 20.
No,
Which
so
is
so I'm,
crazy.
so I'm stating the obvious, but I'm
Right.
saying right,
No, that was
Yeah.
not for you. That was for like the chat. Like
Yeah, no
for
doubt,
those
no
that
doubt.
don't know about Shaden, it's
Yeah,
like
no doubt.
he's super athlete. But
It-
yeah, you
If
gotta fill out some more.
if I'm the Knicks, I'm even kicking the tires on Anthony Simons.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. What do
I
you
actually do like
Simons?
that
I like
idea.
him too.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of talent out there. You just gotta,
Put them in positions to succeed.
and
Or
can
put
the
them in
Knicks
the right scenarios, the right situations.
right? And then see that's why this is where the disagreement is. But I think you can get a big bag for Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
So, and I just don't think JB is going to be your starting point guard on the championship team.
Ironically, I agree with you, but we'll phrase it different. Like I don't think Jalen Brunson is going to be the primary playmaker on. I think it's one of those situations where he may be point guard in title only, but you bring in another guy to be the primary playmaker in the backcourt. Like if you bring in
he can be somebody's Kyrie to somebody's LeBron. That's about it.
Yeah.
Or if it turns out you bring in 2 guys better than Jalen, he definitely can thrive in that role where he gets you a hyper efficient 21 without blinking.
Yeah.
And then you still have your guys that are better than him. Like I see where you're saying that, Sully, where it's like, okay, you can't win a title with Jalen Brunson because he can't be your number one go-to guy coming down the stretch, and he's trying to take you home, and he's like a 5'11" point. Like I understand that.
Yeah, that's it.
But in terms of him being employed as this hyper efficient weapon, just for him to be a Winter Soldier type, just to be out there and be a gunner, he can do that on a team at an extremely high level. When we talk about like his basketball IQ and his skill set, as you've seen, he went to a Western Conference Final. His skill set meshes with a superstar very well, and he's even better now than he was then. So it's one of those things where, yeah, he probably have to fall back a little bit. He can't average 25 next to a superstar. You got to average 21, but it's gonna be like a 21 on like 53% shooting and 40 from 3. It'll be something like that, and then you come down the stretch in playoff games, and he'll be guarded by some team's second or third best defender, and he can just work that defender over and over because he's that type of weapon being deployed by a more superior player. It's one of those things that I view. I don't view Jalen Brunson as the number one option on the title team. No. It's probably 2 or 3 or 2.5, somewhere in there.
In my perfect world, I would love to see the Knicks go get Paul George and Anthony Simons, right? And then that way, Jalen Brunson can do all those things that Dre just mentioned. Plus, it adds length to our team, where now we have an elite perimeter defender, and Paul George can come here and not have to be
Superman.
Yeah, he can just be himself. He can be
Because
Indiana's. He can be the Indiana, not Indiana. I'm sorry. He could be the Oklahoma City Paul George,
yeah,
and
because
that version I think can help you win a championship. This team win a championship anyway.
because trying to bring him in just right now, that would be like asking him to be Kawhi of 2018,
And we don't. Yeah, we won't want him
and
to
then
do that.
and that's his body would crumble because number one, he's like 34 or 33, something like that.
Yeah.
It's just
But
it's
here's my
just not
thing though. If I go get you know how I tell you, like for the flawed superstars, I believe in duplicity. Like if I go get Paul George, then I'm definitely going to get Denny Avdija, right?
yeah.
If I get Paul George, I'm definitely going to get like for instance, if we get Anthony Simons, I'm definitely looking to see if
Get
I can
another
scratch out.
defender because you can't
Yeah,
just
I'm
have
definitely
this.
seeing if I can scratch out Malcolm Brogdon. See if I have enough roster salary cap space
Assets.
to
Yeah,
to see if I can get Brogdon, and then that way I can have Brogdon be the third or fourth guard, to help him get to the playoffs. And
and
then once we get to the playoffs, then I can unleash him and Brunson and Simons on these teams in the East. And in case we didn't notice, man, Anthony Simons is a heck of an athlete, bro. This dude is one.
if you
I
Oh
look
think
yeah,
up his numbers, if you look up Simon's numbers there as of last year, they're identical to like Tyler Hero, and he was far and away like the lesser option in terms of on those Portland Trailblazers teams
right,
he's super athletic. He was in the dunk contest. That
and the
kid,
right,
3-point contest.
yeah, that kid's got that kid has it all. Like don't like he's another one of those guys. If he can get into the right program, you might be able to. I can't say Tyrese, but you might be able to develop him into a primary, the primary ball handler because he can score on all three levels.
yeah,
Like
Right.
his problem is the IQ part of the game,
right,
like because he came into the league super young,
Right.
and his example is Dame Lillard, and that playing like Dame Lillard isn't for everybody. Let's
right.
just be real, like not
No, but he can
everybody can
shoot
play like
like him, bro. Anthony
He
got it.
can he can
He can
he
shoot.
can shoot it. Yeah,
he can
man.
shoot like him, but he can't pass like him.
No,
No,
he
he
can't
can't. And
pass.
he's not and he doesn't stay healthy in long enough stretches where you can see him make an all-star team. He's
Right.
always got like some type of
His game is pretty
thing.
though.
Yeah,
Like Jalen Green for the Rockets. It's like you're not. They're never going to be an Anthony Edwards in those situations.
They
right,
the best thing that they did for Jalen Green is they dumbed down his game. They just made him a weapon on offense because
Yeah.
yeah,
they got Van because last year Jalen Green they were telling Jalen Green run pick and roll.
Right. No, that
Well,
ain't gonna happen.
and he's just not a decision maker.
yeah.
But would you ask him?
He don't have enough nuance and court awareness.
But if you just
to do
ask him to be a bucket, then he can do that for you as good as anybody in the league. You just
Yeah,
ask him, yo,
Because that's what
we're
gets
gonna put you in
you into
positions to score. Just go score.
that, and that's what gets you into the league is scoring. So
right,
once you get to the NBA, in order to be a superstar, you got to do this. You got to do this, the little stuff right. And this is what makes the Halliburton and the Luca and these guys separate themselves with the 15 assists, right? Like how do you get the 30 points with 12 assists?
Yeah,
Not everybody can do that, and that's the special part. What makes you special in the league now is the playmaking.
Halliburton does it like in like an inverse way that Luca does it, but they
yo,
still get the same statistics, but it's like it's in a
Well,
different manner.
hey, just real quick to make y'all laugh. Anthony Simons came back tonight, or came back on the 6th, right?
I
That
think
man put
he
up
had a good game.
27 shots in his first game back since October.
Like y'all needed me.
That man shot 10 for 27.
Yeah, he was wild. At first game back, he plays 37 minutes. Crazy.
Yes. That man, that man legit played 27. I mean, put up 27 shots. That is wild.
He said, "It's my team now." I mean, shit, Dame not here. Might
Yeah,
as well.
man. But he shot 46% from three, which is
I mean,
yeah,
that's what he does, and he's usually more efficient than that, though. Whatever he
yeah.
shot.
Yeah, that
But
man
it's
that man scored 28 points on 27 shots.
oh, man,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
I, I think there's certain things we need to do from a roster construction standpoint, but there's also like we need to change in basketball philosophy at a certain point as well. Like when
Right.
we make these changes, because we might make a change where we get this high end talent, but Tibbs is gonna be out here trying to put regular gas in a Ferrari,
Of
talking
course.
about we need to grit and grind
Right.
when the Ferrari's about, yo, I need to hit this top speed so I
Right.
can pull away from these teams.
Right.
Like like you can't. This is why I'm hesitant. Like even if you do get this top end talent, I don't think Tibbs is the right coach for that type of talent because he
Okay.
he would put caps on that talent.
Okay.
He would just be
Knicks
like,
are in a
yo,
bad
you
spot, bro.
play
It's a bad
you.
spot for the New York Knickerbockers.
Right.
It's. I mean, it
You
depends
changing
how
the
you do it.
coach, you're changing the coach and looking for a superstar. That's not good.
Well,
Right.
this is the thing.
That's
The
not good.
coach is probably going to be Johnny Bryant. If we
Right.
do get rid of Tibbs, because I don't know if you watched the Knicks game
I've been
against
watching
the
a little bit
Bucks.
of
After the game was over, Johnny Bryant beelined his way to go talk to Dame Lillard about something. I don't know, but that him and Dame Lillard are like best buds. So they go back. And he also has like cachet with other stars in the league.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell as well.
Yeah,
So
Donovan Mitchell,
it's one
bro.
of those things because he's been like a skills trainer for a lot of
And
a
see,
lot
that's
of
another
guards.
reason why the Knicks should have done that spider trade or whatever they had to do. Was now they would have had another year. They would have had another. They would have had that year or so of Brunson and Spider getting to know each other on the court.
And
Yeah.
knowing what type of
Yeah,
players you need to put around them.
exactly.
And Sally, why I think what you just said is brilliant is they could have did that last year, right?
Right.
And then this year, coming into probably the deepest wing draft we've seen in 25 years, you could have got a bunch of 6'8" wings. You probably could have got 3 of them that would contribute from day one, right? To go with Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson to supplement their lack of height, right? Because both of them, in theory, both play larger than their height list. One does it with athleticism, and the other does it with elite footwork in the painted area, right?
See, this,
And
yeah,
and
yeah,
so
okay.
what you do, you could have gotten 3 or 4 wings out of this draft, right? Because the Knicks got 2. In theory, the Knicks got 2 and didn't draft them. The Knicks got Jacob Toppin and Jalen Martin, and they're not contributing right now. But
I don't
you
want
could,
Tips to touch them at all.
right, no, but no. And what you're saying, what you're saying is probably accurate. But the acquisition part of talent is the hard part,
Yeah,
right? Like 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 finding it is not hard because you know who can play and who can't. But acquiring it is the tough part. It's the reason why a lot of teams have a lack of talent, right? Because 29 other teams knows Giannis can play, right? They know Giannis can play. But the thing about it is acquiring talent like Giannis is the tough part. So if the Knicks could have got Donovan Mitchell last year, added 3 or 4 wings to and not give them heavy responsibility, just like, hey, you're going to play 5 minutes in the first half, 5 minutes in the second half. Your job is to give us solid defensive minutes on Devin Booker, right? If you get a dunk it. If you get a 3, take it. But we're not going to ask you to create. We're not going to ask you to do all this stuff. You just thrive in this role. And the better you get and the more accustomed you get to the NBA, we'll give you more and more responsibility. Eventually, maybe at the end of this year or maybe the start of next year, we'll start to get you to initiate plays. Because in theory, you're talking about 19-year-olds, right? So you're getting your 19-year-old, 6'8", bouncy wing defender, like the kid from the Bulls have. I think his name is Julian Phillips. Is that his name? The guy from Chicago.
Bulls have a yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the guy that the coach won't give him minutes. The
yeah,
guy
yeah,
won't give it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you get a guy like that, and you just say, hey man, listen, your job tonight, man, is we're gonna give you 5 minutes in both halves to guard Chris Middleton. you know, and the same thing here. You could have did that, and maybe either still have, if you did the Donovan Mitchell trade, you may have one of the three of RJ, Quickly, or Grimes. You may have had to send all of them, but that would have been better for you because now you have cleared up roster spots where you can backfill those roster spots with guys that can complement your height challenged backcourt. You may still even have Obi if you did that trade.
I was gonna say, like, if you looking at like how things, like the Cavs may have regressed a little bit this year,
Right.
and they didn't really address the fact that, yeah, they signed Max Struess, but they didn't address the fact that they don't really have good spacing around their two guards.
Right.
And let's call a spade a spade. Garland is an elite guard as well,
Right.
and he can score with the best of them, can play make. But him and Donovan Mitchell, even though they put the whooping up on Orlando, they're also like one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league. I believe they're like bottom three,
Right.
which is partially why they're struggling because they also have like their guy at the power forward. He never really developed the outside jumper in his
Evan
career,
Mobley, yeah.
and he covers up a lot of holes defensively. So
Right.
does the Fro.
Right.
But when you talk about team building around two small guards, historically it's been pretty difficult. I've only seen two small guards win, and that was the Pistons, right? Two
Okay.
small-ish guards win. That was the Pistons, and that was a different era. We've seen Dame and CJ McCollum try,
Right.
even though CJ McCollum is not on Brunson's level,
Right.
but it like you gotta be completely on point in terms of team building and your philosophy.
Right.
Which is why I'm just like, yeah, you get the guy in here, you get a talent like Donovan Mitchell in here, but you got to be
Mhm.
completely on point because once you get him in here, you got to commit to it and
Yeah.
stick to it. And I don't trust Tibbs. This is why I'm like I don't trust Tibbs or Leon Rose at this point because like put it this way, we get Donovan Mitchell right now. We remove a couple guys out of the rotation. You know the Villanova boys are still gonna be here, and they don't
Right.
help. Though they don't help Brunson and Donovan Mitchell. They're not big rangy wings. They're
Right.
just guys.
Yep. And then you got to trade. Then you got to trade them. Like once you go for Donovan, the whole
You
team
gotta
has to change.
you have to you legitimately have to wipe out like 8 roster spots or flip
Yep.
8 different roster spots.
It's a totally different team.
Right.
And that's
Right. But
and that requires 3, 4, 5 plus different moves. And
Now
you
you
have to be
look
in
at
sync. And when you're doing that many moves, Suzy, the front office and the coaching staff have to be on one accord. And they are not on one accord.
right.
As I'm,
No, the
like
coach thinks he's the boss.
yeah. Which
yeah,
is why I'm just like, yo, we get Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, you do it and you figure it out later. The problem is with the figure it out later part, I don't trust them figuring it out.
and
They
Donovan
don't e- they
Donovan
don't even know how to figure out to get Donovan here in the first place.
Donovan Mitchell's going to grow tired. He doesn't want to go to a losing team. He wants to go.
He's never not been on a playoff team.
Right. And he's going to be on one this year because he's going to get Cavs probably just be a play-in team.
Right. And the thing, just real quick on the Cavs thing, I was watching the Cavs Insider. There, man, they are a fun thing to watch on YouTube. Right. And I'm in here in this
Are you talking
dark
about Cavs Nutter or him or
Cavs Insider.
I was going to say his name is Cavs Nada whatever. I believe
I
that's
can't.
like the most popular Cavs YouTuber. Like I always
Okay.
watching some of his stuff
Yeah,
when
the
he
the
played them
dude
in the
that looks
playoffs.
like he's doing the dude that's on the line looks like he's in the hallway.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. The thing about the Cavs is not Donovan Mitchell, bro. Max Struess, Donovan Mitchell. They found out when they got there. One of the things they found out is that the Cavs are mentally soft. Right. That's one of the things that JB Bickerstaff is challenged with
I think
trying to.
Mobley is soft.
Yeah, and Jared Allen is mentally not an enforcer. He's an athletic freak that can do the things that enforcers do, but he doesn't have an enforcer's mentality.
He looks like a 7-footer until a 7-footer lines up next to him, and
Right,
then that's what Mitch did.
right, right. It's like when you put a boxer and a fighter in a ring. A boxer might have all the fundamentals down, right? But when you get later in the fight, the fighter is fighting,
Well, that's
right?
that saying, Freezy. You can never, if you're a fighter, never box a boxer.
Right,
You got to
right.
fight.
You
Can't
got to fight
box.
them.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say, but Freezy, even when you say those things, right? That's part of the hard. That's the hard part when you're team building because everything can look good on paper.
in workouts and empty gyms. Oh, this guy has a. Did you measure him at 43-inch vertical? Oh wow, we got to draft this cat,
It's like,
right?
oh, we got these twin towers. They're super athletic bigs that can cover up for Donovan Mitchell and
Tell you.
Garland.
Oh,
And we
how
got the spacer with Max Struess, and then you turn around and look. They're I think they're like bottom two in 3-point shooting right now.
Right.
this is analytic. This is an example of analytic basketball controlling decisions.
Right.
And then you look at Orlando and you look at the head coach Mosley for Orlando. That guy isn't. You could just tell he's a basketball coach.
Yep.
That dude down in Orlando for them, you could tell he is a basketball coach. You go in that gym after a win or a loss, he's coaching you. There's
He
no
doesn't look any different at any
right.
point during the game,
He's like
whether up or
Udoka.
down.
I'm
It's like
happy for him, man. He should have been the Mavs head coach instead of Kidd.
He should have. Yep. And you know what? And you know what, Sally, to your point, we were in Orlando, right? We had terrible seats, man. I mean, I had a terrible seat, but it wasn't really that far away from the court. Orlando's arena is a dump. Let me just say that. But anyway, the Orlando coach, he ran a play designed to get Paolo Banchero ISO'd on Quentin Grimes, right? And in theory, you're like, wait a minute, did they just run a play on the wing so that a power forward can ISO against a shooting, not a post up, but an ISO against a defensive shooting
a
guard?
face up, like he was facing up
Yep. And
to
as
cross
soon as
over and make a move.
and as soon as I thought that he went by Quentin Grimes so fast, he gave Quentin Grimes frostbite. That's how
He, rem-
fast he went by him
he
and dunked
reminds
it
me
at the
of
rim.
he
And then
reminds
they
me of
ran the
us.
play
Muffle fan.
again,
Go ahead.
and Emmanuel quickly backed off a little bit. And Paolo Banchero did an in and out dribble, right? In and out, and went around quickly and laid it up at the rim and was laughing, running back down the court. And I have the footage on my phone, and I have it, I think, in one of our intro. I think it's for Old School Knicks. I have it like showing that play, right? And you're like, a human being this big is not supposed to be doing this type of stuff. But the coach, knowing this, is running plays for him to do that.
You're not gonna hit guy. You're never gonna hit your ceiling if you don't actually try to do these things. And like,
But Tibbs would never allow him to do that, bro.
this is what I'm saying. Like, this was like I saw a post game interview. It was like Mo Wagner talking about his brother, and he's like, it's been a 3-year process. Like, we weren't gonna turn it around immediately,
Right,
but our coaching staff allows us to try to grow and try things, right?
right, right.
And like, this is why I was like, yo, even if we would have drafted Tyrese Halliburton, Tibbs would have put shackles on that man. I'm being dead serious. Even with his talent, like, Tyrese Halliburton is good enough to still get like 18 and 8 off the rip, even with shackles put on him.
Right.
But the version that you see of him right now, with him just being unlocked, is because of a guy like Carlisle just letting go of the reins
Right.
and giving him an opportunity to be the best version of himself.
I think he earned that too, though.
Yeah, he definitely worked for it, but he showed up and he showed like he could do specific things.
Yeah, he showed that he was not. When he got to Indiana, he showed immediately that no, you don't have to walk it up and get into a half court set. I remember listening to the Pacers insider, the lady that she knew so much about basketball, bro. It blew my mind hearing her talk.
I
Right?
mean, it's
She's
Indiana, Freezy. They ain't know some basketball over there.
yeah, well, yeah, that's true too. But she used to say, or she was saying that Malcolm Brogdon would set up the pick and roll diagonally on the left side of the floor because he is a right-handed passer, right? And so what he would do is take 1/3 of the floor and just operate in that 1/3, and right, and Brogdon can pass, right? But he's an elite passer with one hand and is all right passer, overall, right? But when they moved Brogdon off of point and made him play off the ball, and Tyrese Halliburton, wherever the defense drove Tyrese Halliburton, he would attack from that area and could pass with either hand and had the court vision. So when because and what she mentioned is if you remember when he first got to Indiana, the Pacers looked terrible because Tyrese Halliburton was playing at this level, and those guys were used to walking it up playing at this level, right? Yeah, I'm gonna try to make this cross pass to the corner. If it's not there, I'm gonna kick it out to Miles Turner for three. Y'all remember that?
Yeah,
Like
the
the whole,
basic
the
stuff.
whole, the whole Sabonis in the post, Turner at the top of the key,
So awkward.
Brogdon. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
just it was just awkward basketball, and
yeah.
it's one of those things where Halliburton is good enough where he can elevate his teammates and increase their IQ as he keeps playing with them.
He impacts winning.
Yeah, and
I got a
like
question.
my fault.
Anthony Edwards or Halliburton?
I'm going
Ooh,
Anthony Edwards.
I'm going Anthony Edwards.
I'm going Anthony Edwards, and I know I'm going Anthony Edwards only because the Anthony Edwards type is more rare for all the skills to click than the Tyrese Halliburton. But if you're asking me, do I like an elite, athletic, Kobe like shooting guard or a tall, elite, dynamic passer and playmaker? I prefer that tall, elite playmaking point guard, right? But in this case, if everything clicks for Anthony Edwards, man, we may be talking about
And
somebody that's out of here.
the archetype
Right, but
for Edwards.
if you ask me
I
Devin
wish
Booker
Anthony
or
Edwards.
Halliburton, I would say Halliburton.
What was it?
I
What
was
was
gonna
that?
say the archetype for Anthony Edwards has shown it can win multiple titles.
I wish he was.
The slim playmaking guard hasn't shown that, but it's shown to elevate teams. But my fault, Sally. Go ahead.
I said I wish Anthony Edwards was taller. That's the only thing. I
Right.
wish he was. Wish he was a little bit bigger. But now I have one: LaMelo Ball or Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese.
Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
And you think that's just more IQ than ability, right? Because I mean, LaMelo can do it all too.
They can virtually do the same things,
Yeah.
except LaMelo is a turnover machine, and Halliburton does not turn over the ball.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what Halliburton does.
He's like a clean cut version of Melo.
Yeah.
At the same time too, though. At the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I think LaMelo is better than we think. I think his roster has just been historically trash.
I think
and
LaMelo's
injured.
a better scorer than Tyrese.
And that Charlotte roster is either injured, somebody's doing something crazy, is in whether it's Kai Jones in a mental illness thing, or James Bouknight falling asleep drunk in his car, or it's always something with them, right?
Yeah.
It's always something with Charlotte where dudes are not on the floor, right? So I think LaMelo will be better. For instance, if you surrounded Melo with higher IQ players, I think that elevates LaMelo's IQ in game also. Right.
If
But
LaMelo was on the Warriors, we'd be talking about something else entirely.
Right. No, and I know LaMelo has flaws because I think his biggest flaw is his defense is non-existent. Right.
Or when he tries, he has the physical capability and IQ because like individual like isolation defense, if you try to put the ball out in front of him and try to do a move, he's gonna pickpocket.
With that, but for
He's,
that reason right there.
he's big. He was 6'7", 6'8" too. So
Yeah.
Legit 6'7".
Yeah. Yeah. I stood probably about 10 feet away from him. And Dre, he's got me about 3 inches, bro.
He's 6'8".
However he is, I don't. That,
Well, I
that
mean,
dude looks.
you 6'5", so
Yeah, and I'm 6'5 1/4. That dude right there he's got me, and bro, and I don't know if it's shoes or whatever it is, but you know how you're standing with somebody and you're like, yeah, that dude's taller than me.
yeah.
That I honestly say, like when I'm by RJ Barrett, RJ and I are around the same height. Like it's nominal. You can't at a distance. You don't know who's taller, right? Me or RJ Barrett, right? But LaMelo, I saw him standing by RJ. He's got RJ about 2 inches easy.
right.
So he's 6'8".
Yeah. All right. However, yeah.
What's Tyrese? 6'5", right? 6'4", 6'5".
I believe
Yeah.
Tyrese is 6'5".
Yeah.
A real like a plain 6'5", just 6'5".
So
I mean, long wingspan though.
and that's what goes back to earlier of with the small guards. There's another example. Two of the future playmakers of the NBA,
Big guards.
or three, right? Luka, Tyrese, and LaMelo. They're all 6'7", 6'6", or bigger.
Right.
The only anomaly to that in terms of like playmakers, small playmakers, is Trae Young. Trae Young is an elite playmaker, but he can pass with both hands from
Yeah.
any type of angle. But
Right.
in terms of just like creativity, Tyrese and LaMelo have them beaten, and Luca have them beaten creativity with the
Okay.
passing, because they just have so many more angles and lanes they can pass from because they're just so big. Like,
Right.
They have advantages over Luka, man. It's not easy for players to play with Luka. They're not used to playing slow. Like Obi Toppin would not play well with Luka.
Right.
Tyrese Halliburton is perfect for this gen. Tyrese Halliburton's like Pistol Pete, man. Like
Right.
it's just like it's fast paced, high octane basketball, which is regular season. That's what you went. Now we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
yeah, because eventually, if Tyrese Halliburton's going to be the man in the postseason, he's going to have an in between game.
Yeah, he
And I
can't.
don't know if he can do that with the way he shoots,
Right.
which is why he leans on his floater heavily.
Right.
Leans on shooting from range, like 2, 3.
That, and he's going to get
behind the line.
trapped, man. He's going to listen. He's going to get trapped. They're not going to let him do this. I mean, they're not going to just let him run up and down the court and throw alley oops 50 feet.
Right.
Nobody's going to let you do that.
Yeah, he's going to have to evolve his game to be effective long term if he's going to be the number one guy. But if they find a way to get him like a weapon or isolation threat, then it takes a bit more pressure off of him.
I tell you what, if he had a Kyrie,
two-man game,
totally different.
Oh yeah,
that would be a totally different, because that's been Kyrie's issue, is slowing the game down and finding that instead of scoring off momentum, scoring off of a play.
Right.
And it's not easy for everyone to switch to that.
Right.
It's just not. That's the reason why Jalen Brunson and Luka work so well together, because they're both slow players.
Right.
They always get shots off late in the shot clock.
That's it's funny. It's funny you say that, because like the originator of that style of like two heavy isolation guys and it working out at like the end game, LeBron and Kyrie played amongst the slowest pace in the NBA, especially in the finals, to give them a chance against the Warriors. They
Right.
slowed the pace down to a snail's pace and played heavy isolation role, attacking mismatches. And then that's what the Rockets did with Harden and CP3. That was the blueprint that they tried to take.
Right.
And then you can look around the league now. You can say Luca and Brunson tried to do that. It can work to a certain level, but when you're playing against loaded up defenses, it just gets harder and harder the higher up you go in the playoff rounds. Which is why it's just like, I think Luca is absolutely amazing, but I think he may need to like switch up in terms of when he gets to the postseason. Not as much. Well, I mean, you need to have an in between game. You need to have heavy isolation at points in the playoffs. But I think he takes on too much of a load at times,
Okay.
and I think like
He ain't had
he
no.
could win. He could win 2 rounds by himself playing that way because
He
he's
could have.
just that gifted.
He could have beat the Warriors if they didn't start the White Pal. You go back if they didn't start the White Pal against Kevon Looney, he would have beat the Warriors.
They didn't have no alternative.
I no. My point is that
Oh, I got what you're saying.
he's finally got a set. I listen. I had no idea Derek Lively was going to be this.
I did.
This-
I
he
did, bro. I did. I was on We Talk Mavs with no, it was the crossover. Dre, remember the crossover we did during the summer?
Yeah.
And I told them, I was like, bro, just get, I promise you. And they were like, no, we need a starter. We need a starter, man. I was like, bro, the dude can start from day. This right here is the tip of the iceberg, right? Or you're seeing is the finishing at the rim. They hadn't even seen his handles yet. When they see his handles and mid-range shoot, bro,
when they let him do dribble handoffs and high-low passing.
Yeah, I mean, he could pass. I didn't know his mom was a coach. I found out that I saw, obviously they show I didn't know his mom was a high-level basketball coach too.
Bro, bro, this
That's
dude,
crazy.
this dude is it, bro.
Yeah,
this dude is it. All that stuff that Vic does, Derek Lively can do some of that stuff, right? Like I'm not calling him Victor One Beyond. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Around the basket right now, I think he's better.
Oh yeah,
right? And handles in traffic, I give Lively the advantage.
You want to know something, Freezy? When after like the third game, I was like, oh yeah, this kid's it. And then they were like, he's from Philly. I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely it. Yeah. I was like, that Philly, if he's got Philly in him and he's like this, he's just going to get meaner and meaner.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way, and Luka's mean. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have two of them just screaming and yelling all the time.
Yeah.
So when I heard he was from Philly and I saw that his mom was a high-level coach, I was like, okay. I was like, I got to reevaluate my opinion because he looked like trash in the summer league.
Yeah, and the thing about summer league though is in summer league when you're playing with trash, sometimes you're gonna look like whatever. But the thing about Lively is if you're a big and you can pass with either hand, right? And those are your tertiary skills, not even your secondary skills, but you have primary and secondary skills, and then when all else fails, you could just put it on the floor and make a move and get to the basket and score. Now you're talking about a dude that's going to be an impact player. Now, I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to being as good as Luka, right? But I think he's on that Evan Mobley path, right? Where he can be 16 and 10 and 4 in short order. Now, it won't happen this year. It'll probably be next year. Right. But when they allow him to start shooting away from the basket, being a real stretch five like he is, bro, that's what I'm saying. The one thing about Dallas, man, is they waste their time. They always waste their time with trash coaches, right? Dallas never had as long as y'all have been watching basketball, have y'all ever seen the Dallas Mavericks in a situation where they could not bring in talent? For a long stretch, maybe a year they'll struggle with finding somebody, right? But have you ever seen Dallas go 5 years without superior talent?
No.
And I'm talking about like 5 straight years of Reggie
in
Bullock
the
and Alfred Payton.
Yeah, in the middle of the wilderness.
Yeah,
they get their start, and to be honest. They failed building around that star, but they always get the star.
Right.
They always get the generational talent. They just
they're always Keystone Cops with their talent.
Or if they don't get the generational talent, they get this high end offensive machine like Jason Kidd.
Yeah,
they get scorers, guys that can help put the ball.
I think they're. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, another name that nobody associates with Dallas is Steve Nash. They had him,
Right.
you know,
Yep.
they
And let him go.
it up.
Yep.
They screwed that up. They screwed Dirk. That was part of Dirk's.
Dirk took pay cuts like 3 times
Yep.
to
Mark
get
Cuban's
trash put
another.
around him.
Mark Cuban's another money ball guy.
Yeah.
He's another money. These are all let's be real. Dallas, up until now, has been a city like an A city, but like a B, right? It's not New York. It's not Chicago. It's not LA.
It's a great city until it gets compared to the premier cities.
Right. It's like a tier B city, like DC.
Right.
It's not like one of the big ones, but I don't know.
Like Atlanta. Like Atlanta. People love Atlanta, but
Yeah,
it's definitely not Miami. It's definitely not Miami.
No, it's not Miami. No. Yeah. They try to make it Miami in their
Right.
minds, but
Right.
Miami's got a good thing going too. But this is what are we talking about? Shit. Sorry about that. I don't know. I forgot my thought.
Dallas acquiring talent.
Lively. Yeah, that's where we were. Yeah. I had no idea, man. I had no idea that this kid was going to be this dominant. Like this. I mean, he's not Shaq,
No.
but you don't like.
But he's effective off the like he's giving you like 3rd year DeAndre Jordan production.
Yeah.
But Dre, you know who he's gonna be eventually though? I think he is gonna be an athletic version of Rick Smits.
That'd be
You
cool.
remember
So he's going to develop a jumper.
Pacers?
He's going to develop
What do
like
you-
a
what do you mean
face-up
develop-
15-footer.
What do you mean develop,
18
bro?
Well, they
the
don't
Duke-
ask him to shoot. That's what I'm saying.
Bro, the reason why, bro, Duke is not gonna. You know who played center before him at the dude that played center before him at Duke? Paulo Banchero, bro. You know what I'm saying? You think Duke is gonna? I mean, I'm sorry, not Paulo Banchero, but Mark Williams, right? Oh, was it Mark Williams? I think the lineage is him, Mark Williams, Paulo, or him, Paulo, Mark Williams, some kind of or you know what? Mark Williams and Paulo were in the same draft, right?
Yeah.
Bro,
Yep.
you think
Last
man,
year's
you think,
draft.
yeah, you think Duke is gonna, bro? Nah, Duke don't play. You know what I'm saying? Now Duke can't recruit point guards worth the damn, but
They can
every
get
other
you some
position,
wings and some bigs.
yeah, man, yeah. At one point, Duke's small forward thing went Brandon Ingram, Jason Tatum, RJ Barrett, or some weird some weird line like that. I think you could throw in Gary Trent Jr. in there too. I think they
You
all
can
were.
go before that. You can go Llewell.
Yeah,
You can go Grant Hill.
yeah,
They'll
man.
get you a wing in the league at some
That kid Derek Lively is going to be a mix of Rick Smits and for people watching, like if they turn their nose up at Rick Smits, bro, I think Rick Smits was the number 2 pick in the draft one year. I think was he the number 2 pick after Pat Ewing, or was he the number 2 pick in the 87 draft or whatever it is?
He was in the 88 draft.
And in the 88 draft. Okay. Yeah, man.
Second overall pick in the 88 draft.
Man, that dude, bro,
Second pick.
Yeah. If you can imagine Rick Smits with handles, bro, come on. Come on, bro. So he might not be a household name. Like, he won't be remembered in that golden age of centers because of Olajuwon Robertson, Ewing, Shaq, and
But it
all
was
those
because of
guys.
the golden age, man. It's kind of like how Mike Conley won't be remembered, even though he was a very good point guard for many years.
Yeah.
Mike Conley made like
People don't even remember Arvydas Sabonis.
Right.
Because we got the broke down one when he came here. He was still
the broke down one. There's a lot of people that say if he was able to play his prime in the NBA, they would be saying that he's a top 5 player all time.
Yeah.
And you go back and watch his tape against when he had to play Shaq.
Athletic Jokic.
Like, yeah, he's huge. Like, freaking, he was bigger than Shaq.
Yeah.
I go back and I've gone back and watched their matches just to kind of put it in perspective. And he
that was
was
the old one, like the old Blazers one.
Yeah, it was Rasheed Wallace. Yep.
Right.
And
yeah,
you can see him pulling Shaq out. So if you want to see how like Jokic would do against Shaq, yeah, you would basically just watch that.
Yep.
Jokic.
I mean,
I
I'm
think
gonna
he's
keep
better
it
than
keep
Jokic, though.
What's up?
I think he's better
think
than Jokic.
Shaq, or are we
No,
the
Or
Sabonis.
yeah, because
Sabonis.
bigger.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
got. I think Sabonis was like 7'4".
yeah, and very, very strong. See, Sabonis is strong, especially in today's NBA,
Yeah,
where skill is preferred over strength down low. But man, Sabonis could pass, bro.
yeah.
There's this pass, Dre. There's this pass he did. I saw with my own eyes. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, where Sabonis was dribbling back up towards the top of the key, and a guy named Drazen Petrovic was cutting off the opposite wing, and he
a
threw a
guy
behind
named
his back
Johnson?
pass to Drazen Petrovic for a layup at the rim, right? And people were losing their minds, right? But the NBA wasn't ready for the Euro invasion yet, right? Because there were just Euros, a sprinkling of Euro here, maybe a Euro there, but the Euro style of basketball wasn't
It was a
necessarily there.
it was a deadlift shrimp here,
Yeah, yeah. A
but it
Tony
wasn't really.
Kukoc may
Well,
have been on the
they
way.
couldn't play. A lot of those players from Russia, the old Yugoslavia, they couldn't
Yeah,
come over to the NBA to play.
right,
That was
right.
all that politics.
Yep, yep,
They weren't even allowed to play.
That's
yep.
when the Cold War died down in the '90s. That's when it
Yeah, they
really
started coming.
kind of
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, man. I think Sabonis was a great NBA player, man. I mean, even when he got here,
He did
he had
Jordan.
lost a step.
Yeah.
He lost a couple steps, but he thought the game at such a high level, it didn't really matter that he was slow. His
Right,
molasses.
right, right, right. And then plus he did the Andre the Giant off-season conditioning. You know
Oh,
what I'm
which is
saying?
just eat and
Drink
lounge.
beer.
The first 2 years of Luca off season,
Yeah, yeah,
when Luca was
yeah,
just chilling.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
man.
Lucas had an off season, Dre. I think he's played basketball every off season.
Well, true, because he
I
plays
don't think Lucas
internationally.
had an off season.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily do. But this is the thing about the Eastern European guys. They're just they may not look cut, but the strength is there. Like they're strong as an ox, regardless. Like
Yeah.
you're not moving them.
The
Yeah.
thing with the Europeans is, especially if you played Euro League, the NBA season is just so long, man.
Right.
Like they only play 2 games a week over there, but every game means something.
Every game means something.
Where the games over here, but I'm gonna be honest
The
with you,
seasons are like 30 to 40 games long. But
these are just scrimmages, man. Until you get to after All-Star break, this is just basically scrimmages. Like that's how I look at it. This is all for Vegas.
Right. And you know what? And to be honest with you, Sally, I'm not to I mean, but personally, I like it this way. And the reason why I like it this way is not because I like low leverage games. I like it this way because if it was just a 50 game sprint to the finish line, ticket prices would be ridiculous, right? Like say for we went to see the Knicks in Orlando, and I think Orlando had the Knicks, Golden State, and the Lakers lined up in 1 week, right? And so if you're in vacation in Orlando, you're like, okay, I can see Golden State and the Lakers play Orlando in the same week. Like you can legit get the suite, you can get a suite. You get the suite one time, they give you the little sweetheart deal where they give you free parking or whatever, or they'll give you 10% off the price of the suite or whatever it is. And you're like, okay, I'll do it. Shoot. To see LeBron, to see Steph Curry. But if it's like the sprint to the finish, where you play all NBA teams once, but you may not be able to see them in your arena, I don't know if I'm, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm really feeling that. And not saying that you implied that. I'm just saying that I don't
No,
know,
I feel
man.
you, Matt.
Like the intensity isn't the same for everything, but I
Right.
do appreciate the fact that there's so many games that you can you can get a long term view and evaluate guys even more extensively rather than like a short sprint. And
Right.
it's like, is this guy for real? He just had a great 25 games, right?
Right. Right.
Some guys you have to evaluate over the long haul rather than
And then
short
and
sprints.
then sometimes you want to see a SGA in person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then for instance, we were in Charlotte and I think we saw, man, it was so cold in Charlotte, bro. It was like 7 degrees outside, and we could have either saw the Hornets and the Chicago Bulls or the Panthers and the Dallas Cowboys. And I think we went to see the Hornets we went to go see the
I bet you
Hornets and the
those
Chicago
tickets
Bulls.
were a fraction
Bro,
of that.
I was sitting, I could have passed Zach LaVine a towel, bro.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Going to a basketball game is a much better experience than an NFL game,
Yeah.
personally.
It
Yeah.
depends on the weather. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It depends on the weather and where your seats are, but even then, you're not really seeing the action as well as you are in an NBA game,
Right. Right.
unless you're in the nosebleeds or something.
We were so Dre, we were so close, right? We could hear Zach LaVine encouraging everybody, like, come on, man, what y'all doing? Come on, come on. You know what I'm saying? And I thought he was a diva. When you see him on TV, you look at him, you're like, oh, this dude is a spoiled brat. He went to UCLA. You know what I'm saying? His mommy probably bought him a house out of college. You know what I'm saying? This is what I think about Zach LaVine, right? Until you see him in person. But if we didn't have an 82 game schedule, I probably would have
You
never got
wouldn't
to
have
see Zach
known.
LaVine. Yeah,
You would have never known.
yeah. I mean,
There's a particular science to it, and I
yeah,
think
and
that
I think that
the in season tournament helped revitalize a little bit of the regular season games because we wouldn't be giving a damn about, oh, we lost to the Bucks. Okay, we lost to the Bucks in
yeah,
December. Well, we'll get over it.
yeah,
I think the added sting about it and the added sting about it in terms of analyzing where we are as a team, Freezy, is like you see what it looks like when other teams have the same amount of hustle as us in a game that matters, and you see the talent discrepancy.
yeah,
That's what makes it come to the forefront in terms of our frustration. Like if we lost the game to them in December and it was just by whatever, we just lost. We've been like, okay, they may have coasted to just beat us, but they were playing for something at that point, and they stomped a mud hole in us. And then you realize the talent discrepancy and where it lies, and the coaching discrepancy. When everyone has the same amount of hustle, you see where other teams are for the most part. Now there can be outliers and guys have hot nights, but you can see the discrepancy
right.
from a from multiple perspectives.
You know what else I noticed too? Every NBA team complains about the refs.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Every
100%.
one of them.
There's not a
Everybody
superstar that doesn't complain about the refs.
and every NBA team, right? Every NBA team thinks the other team is getting home cooking, right? I was at that Chicago game, and I could hear Chicago talking like, "Yo, the referees work for Charlotte.
Like what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? The NBA care
Why
about
would they work
Charlotte
for
for?
Charlotte? Why would they work? Why would they work for Charlotte, bro?
Charlotte ain't
Why?
making the NBA no money.
Right, right. I walked up here on game day in 7 degree weather, and is sitting from from your bed to your dresser from Zach LaVine. And I walked up there on game day, bro. I mean, I didn't even have a
How
ticket,
much
none
did
of
they?
that.
How much did they run you for? Them
So
tickets?
I think they were originally 388, and we got there like right before the game, they were slashed to like 188,
Damn, I say 200 just like that.
just like that, bro. Just like now, I understand why where I was staying is probably in Charlotte. Where I was staying was probably about in theory, it should be 8 minutes from Spectrum Center, but it was actually about 10 because
Right.
they had these big orange construction cones out there, and it makes the 2 lane into 1 lane, and
Yeah,
now
yeah, yeah.
people driving all weird because it's cold outside and all of that. But yeah, man, yeah, bro. We went, and I mean, and we would just think about, we were just chilling, and I was like, hey, does Charlotte play tonight? Yeah, Charlotte plays Chicago. I'm like, well, Chicago just beat the Knicks. They're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, what you gonna do tomorrow? I don't know. You know
Let
what I'm
them some
saying?
free calm.
And we waited for like till about 2 hours before the game. And I don't use the app. Like I don't use the either I use the app way ahead of time,
Yeah,
or
you
I'll
book
use
it
the
and
app.
send your email, and then
Yeah. They'll flood your email. They'll spam you to death. Or I'll wait till I get right there at the arena, see what is what, and then I'll check the app again. And I saw that the tickets was at 188. I was like, yeah,
you just buy it and just walk right in.
just go right in. Yeah, just go right in. I got to see Del Curry again, right? I think they were doing some type of alumni night where they were bringing back old players, and all of them had like these jackets on, or whatever it is, some kind of whatever anniversary Hornets 35th, whatever it was,
Yeah.
whatever it was they were celebrating, right? But I got to sit so close to Zach Levine, I can hear him. He legit changed the way I thought about him. Is one reason why I'm a fan of his now, as opposed to me thinking he is a mama's boy, is what I thought for all the same thing about Miles Bridges. I thought Miles Bridges was a mama's boy for all those years until I started going to see the Knicks in Charlotte and hear him, bro. He not a mama's boy at all. You
I
know,
mean, if you listen to his rap, you would know he's
but he was
complete.
raised like that though, bro.
It,
He
wa- it,
turned
it,
into that in
he
Charlotte.
just turned into that because there's a lot of bad influences.
Yeah, he wasn't that at Michigan State.
He
Remember,
probably got that from Scary Terry.
yeah,
Some of it.
yeah. As a matter of fact, he should have came out in the year before, whatever draft that the Frank draft was the Frank draft the year before the Donovan Mitchell draft. He should have came out in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Josh
Frank
Jackson
Frank
Donovan
was
Mitchell.
Frank was 1 year before Knox. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'll never forget watching the interview of him, and they were like, hey, so what went into the decision of you staying at Michigan State one more year? He was like, man, I'm not ready to go and be in the NBA, man. I like being here and I was like, what? And he was like, and then my parents just bought me a car, so now I don't have to walk everywhere. And I was like, this dude is a child.
His name is Miles, man.
You know, this dude is a child, bro. He was
I
like,
ain't
yeah,
never
I'm not
heard of no
ready.
street cat freezing. I ain't never heard of no street cats named Miles.
No, 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 bro. I'm telling you. And he was like, his mom, and he was like, yeah, I sat down with my mom and dad, and we blah blah blah. And I was like, what? This dude is a child, bro. Yeah, because I think as a matter of fact, I think he and Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
were at Michigan State at the same time.
Yeah, they were.
Right. And so I was thinking, like, this dude, Jaren Jackson, the same guy, like the same, he was a kid also. Like when they asked him, they were like, so what do you look forward to in the NBA? And Jaren Jackson Jr. is like, just being better than my pops. All goofy like a little kid.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, man, what I'm getting at is, like, when you go to the game and you actually see these people in real life, bro, like the reason why I have a different feeling about Randall is I understand. I probably have seen Randall play live about 30 times. right?
Mhm.
About 30 times in all types of city across the country, right? Hadn't seen him play in the Garden yet, but all types of cities around the South, right? And the dude, he's not a meanie. He's just a quiet dude, bro. That's it. Like people expect him to be,
This
um,
loud rah rah guy. He's just
yeah,
not
but he
that.
not. And it's different strokes for different folks, man. People's
Mm.
personalities are different. Like
But there's the thing. Jalen Brunson is also the same way.
also the same way, and so is
It
RJ.
just it just comes off a different way.
So is Grimes.
Yeah. It just
Yep.
comes off a different way. When you do get emotional in different ways, in the small amounts of times, in these small microsecond outlashes that people overanalyze, people assume he's this one way.
Right.
People get
Right.
frustrated in different ways.
Yeah.
It's just reality.
Yeah. And the Randall thing is all the stuff that y'all say about Randall. Julius Randall have heard all these things his entire career.
He
He
was
not good
called a
enough.
bust by the Lakers. So
Yep.
and Lakers fans can be miserable.
Yep. Yep.
So like
Yep.
we might think it's rough here. He's already gotten it over there. It's like, oh, this dude already broke his leg,
Yeah.
fragile. He ain't gonna ever be nothing. Well,
Right.
and then
Lakers fans say
as soon
that,
as they
but
let him,
Kobe Bryant loved him.
and as soon as they let him go, it's like, oh, it's cool. We let him go for nothing. Better off
Right.
without him anyway.
Right. And he's better. He's a better player than Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Larry Nance, all those guys that they had in the building, either with him or before him. Like all those dudes that he's better than. He's got a better career than Lonzo Ball, D'Angelo Russell, um, Jordan Clarkson, D'Angelo Russell, Ivan Zubac,
Josh Hart.
Josh Hart, Josh Hart, all those guys, bro. Larry Nance, all those guys. Julius Randle has had a better career than all those young guys that they brought in. All of them. So when you think back to what is Randall really, man, Randall's had a pretty good NBA career because a lot of those dudes, not just Randall, but a lot of those dudes changed teams. Brandon Ingram played for that same New Orleans Pelicans, right? Josh Hart played for those same New Orleans Pelicans. Kyle Kuzma he went from there to the Wizards.
Yep.
All those guys changed. D'Angelo Russell has been on what, 5 teams? So Lonzo Ball,
Lakers, Nets, Wolves, Lakers again.
Lakers again. Yeah. So in theory, 3 3
But
teams.
for 4 different
But
cores.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Jordan Clarkson, 2 teams.
Cavs, Lakers,
Oh, 3
Jazz.
teams. I forgot about the Cavs. I forgot about it. Yeah.
Yeah, Cavs, Lakers, Jazz. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So
If at worst comes to worst, they all found a niche.
they all were talented players.
Yep.
They're all talented players, and they found their footing in the NBA. But let me ask you this just real quick before I get out of here, right?
Bet.
What's the one player you want to see the Knicks go get using the assets that they have available, feeling as if time is of the essence? You already know all the
To go
assets they
get
have.
it might be okay. Donovan Mitchell.
Oh,
That's the only, I guess, somewhat realistic one at this current juncture.
Donovan Mitchell.
It's
That
the
was
only
sneaky.
he's the only somewhat realistic one because number one, he actually wants to be here. Well,
Right.
in New York, I don't know if he wants to be a part of the Knicks, but he wants to be in the city. So it
Would
might be the Nets. The Nets might be a bidder as well.
would
But
you consider
it might
moving?
be the Carmelo Anthony situation all over again, where we're gonna have to bite the bullet before the Nets do it.
I'm ready to throw a curveball at you, right? And I shouldn't have gave you a warning before I threw the curveball. Now it's just a breaking ball. Now it's just a breaking ball if you know it's coming, right? But would you include Randall if you could manipulate a Mobley inclusion?
Oh yeah,
You would give up Randall so the Cleveland would be in win now, right?
that's fine. That's fine. They can have that. If we're talking about being absolutely, if we're talking about like I'm be absolutely honest with you, I'm banking on Mobley's continued growth, whereas Randall, while Randall is a very good player or to great player, I think the best of him is currently right now, and
Right now.
he's gonna descend, but it's not gonna be a steep descent. It's just he's he's at his best, at his peak right now.
Ironically, I think a Randall Mobley swap makes them contenders, bro.
Not without Donovan.
No,
It
I
would be
think
that team would be Garland. Insert whoever at the
quickly
two. Oh
it'll
wait.
be Garland, quickly,
Oh,
RJ, Randall.
we're not giving up. Well, damn. If you are getting Mobley, you probably gonna have to come up with RJ
Yeah, because
and quickly.
you think they're gonna give up Spider and Mobley and not
Mm,
if they're giving up Spider and Mobley.
well, Freezy, I pose this to you. Then you must think there's a big difference in the coaching because that core is essentially kind of what we have right now.
I think the coaching is
Because if we're talking about like that core, well, then you're swapping Brunson for Darius Garland and you're swapping Mitch for the Fro. That's essentially what you're doing with the Knicks.
except what you're giving Cleveland is something measurables and NBA combine stuff can't give you, right? Right. Julius Randle added to that team gives them toughness off rip. It's the first thing that happens, right? Because the dude from Philly, George Niang, and Max Strus, that's all they've been talking about since they've been there. We got to get tougher, man. We got to compete harder, right? That's what they're talking about, right? The current Cleveland roster is, yeah, man. We got to get healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's a chemistry thing. You gotta dudes on the outside end coming in. They're like, no, we got to get tough. You know, and I think, to be honest with you, I think that's JB Bickerstaff's issue is not that he can't coach, it's that dudes are finesse. You have too much finesse. You have a power forward who's a shooter, can handle. They think he's going to be Anthony Davis eventually. And I even heard
I'm gonna be real with you, Freezy. Yeah, I'm gonna still do that trade, even if it would make them in win now mode or whatever.
right.
I think a potential ceiling would be higher if we could
Okay.
find the right small forward to go in that combination.
Now my right, right, right. Okay. You know
It,
what? You
it's
know what?
it's
I'll
it's
get to
dependent on the right small forward. Now, if we get the wrong, we try to fill in that gap with Max Strus, Freezy, then
Denny of Deja.
then okay.
Denny of Deja, bro. And now all the length issues that you said because of a short backcourt, Denny is 6'9", Mobley 6'11", Mitch is 7 foot. What are we even talking about? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Then you got Josh Hart and no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. And I wouldn't want to
I
trade.
hope them dudes get traded. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't want to do I don't want to trade RJ or Randall or Quickly or any of those guys. So if they're watching, man,
I would if there's a way to trade Josh Hart and Dante for a starting, have at it, please.
please, right? Right.
Grimes too. Throw Grimes in there too.
Yeah. And so I wouldn't want to trade Randall and RJ, but you can't be
Scared
in
money don't make no money.
and you can't be in the spotlight like one a high profile and then cringe when you're in the you can't have it both
Can't
ways.
be all in the videos dancing.
Yeah, you can't all up in the videos.
And then they ask you to put on the shiny suit, and you like, I don't know, I don't want the shiny suit.
If you think I'm jiggy, yeah. Shout out to the Locks for selling a soul. The album is fire, though. The album is fire. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna
Oh
lie. I love
man.
the Locks' first album. But
Mm.
anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm probably going here and play this hockey game till about 7 o'clock. Bro, I ain't even gonna lie, man. I started playing this hockey game, man. And I know a lot of y'all are not hockey fans, blah, 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 whatever. But I started playing this hockey game called NHL, and now
Mhm.
I'm addicted, man.
It's the same thing I seen people get to when they started playing. Well, it's not called FIFA anymore,
Right,
but it's called FC.
right.
But like those games where it's like you see you understand the nuances of the game a little bit more when you start to play it.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
when you actually play the game, as
right.
opposed to just watching it on TV, you understand
Yeah,
the smaller micro nuances in terms of attacking and defense and all those
yeah.
other
Like
things.
triangulation and odd
Yeah.
man rush and all that stuff. Yeah,
And it's probably the same thing that people feel when you're like a casual basketball fan, and then you
right.
start calling plays in 2K, and you're just like, oh, that's
Holy
what Zoom
crap.
does.
That's how he got open. That's
Yeah,
how Mitch. Oh, real quick. Um, somebody asked me, um, um, how can I improve the Knicks offense? Right.
mm,
I meant to say somebody asked me on the telephone, and I promised that I would tell them, say it on the show. The one answer that unlocks the Knicks offense is run the pick and roll off the wings, right? Don't always run the predictable high ball screen from the top of the key.
clear out the side and run pick and roll.
Yep. But how you do that without getting trapped is put a shooter on the floor. Because what teams will do, they know running the side pick and roll attacks
Make the shooter one pass away. That's all.
right. And the other thing too, though, the other thing to that is when you run the pick and roll from one of the sides, you give a big man the straight on look from three, the easiest three in the game for a big,
Mhm.
that straight on three from the top of the key.
You could put Randall in that spot.
Yep. Instead of them shooting it off the wing. And now everyone is a threat. And what it does is when you run that side pick and roll like the Clippers used to run, Chris Paul.
Oh, Chris Paul used to put
Oh,
somebody, and they would
oh,
have like JJ Redick at the top of the key or above the break.
right. Or they used to have Paul Pierce at the top of the key and JJ Redick on the corner,
Yeah.
opposite side, where Chris Paul can thread the needle with either hand to JJ Redick.
Mm.
And they had your defense spread so thin, it always looked like a fast break. Blake Griffin just catching
And
bodies.
and they would set that up in like half transition, like off of just a rebound. Chris Paul brings it up, and
Yeah.
before you even know it, he's into that side pick and roll,
Yep. But before you can set your defense.
or Blake slips real quick for the lob, and you're already stressed.
Yep. Yep. And you know what else that did too? That unlocked Blake Griffin's handles and 3-point shooting. When Blake Griffin was at the top of the key with a straight on three, and you're like, not only is he a powerful rebounder dunking on people, but he can shoot the three. Man, listen.
Yeah.
And for that reason that's the reason why I say you gotta bench Grimes. You got to bench Grimes. Jalen Brunson can be a playmaker if the plays you run are not handicapping the ball handler. Because if we had Halliburton running this offense, we'd be getting the same result. Halliburton would probably be averaging 8 assists, 7.5, but he wouldn't be averaging 12.
I'm probably 9.5.
Some
I
way.
think he gets an extra 2 because their pace is just so high. But I won't say he will lose 4 assists unless the shooters
Yeah,
on his team are terrible.
and the shooters on this team are terrible, right? So you know what I'm saying. My thing is who's a better shooter, Buddy Hield or Quentin Grimes?
Oh, but he
It's like not even a
saying,
question, right?
not even.
Not
You
e-
even
not
gotta
not even
not
not
even
even a
gotta.
question. Who's a better shooter, Aaron Neesmith or Josh Hart? It's not even a
Not even a
question.
question.
You know what I'm saying?
Tell
So,
me
but
who's a
that, but
better
that,
shooter, Mitchell Robinson
Miles Turner.
or Miles?
You see what I mean?
The threat of Miles Turner shooting the three set up so many of those delayed rolls where he hit him with a bounce pass. Miles Turner dunks
Just yam on. Yeah.
on Brook
Yeah,
Lopez.
man. Yeah, man. So,
I
but
mean
that's
that
all I got. You
they
got something else you want to?
oh, I ain't got nothing else, man. Appreciate
Nothing.
chopping it
Nothing
up.
about Boston. You don't have anything about the Boston game?
Just win.
Just win, baby. That should be the phrase. When they ask Leon Rose questions, Leon Rose should be like, the only thing I'm concerned about is winning. That's it.
Yeah.
When we're not winning, I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna. That's the when they asked Al Davis, it was like they were like, but the Chiefs have all kind of exotic blitzes, man, and they last week they did such and such, and you guys beat the Chiefs and such and such. What do you tell the fans about how ugly this win was? He was like, just win, baby. That should be us. That should be us.
Exactly.
All right, everybody, we out of here. Thank y'all for rocking. Appreciate y'all being patient with me. On starting the show all late. I'm gonna get out of here, get some rest, get prepared for later on in the day. Probably play some
Peace.
NHL. And Dre, so what's the score? Celtics, Knicks 121, Celtics 114.
Well, it depends. Does Kristaps play or not?
Luke Cornett can shoot, bro.
I mean, he can shoot, but he ain't no KP, man. I ain't worried about that. Knicks 114, Celtics 108.
All right, and there it is. All right, y'all.